Spreading all around my room, my world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel. I know it has been some time since we have done this. It's been about a month, and I'll go into that in a second. But I just want to say thank you for sticking around and waiting this out while I went through the worst sickness I have ever felt. As you can see, I'm on the end of it, but I'm still dealing with it slightly. But I needed to get at least one video out um, in about a month so you guys know that I'm still alive. I know I've been posted on the community tab over the past month with like NFL predictions and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to do an actual video. So basically, what happened was little background on me. I don't ever get sick. Like, I haven't been sick in maybe 4 or 5 years, and that's just like with the normal flu. But when middle December came around, I got the flu. And I thought, okay, I'll be able to get rid of this in like a couple days, maybe a week at most, and I'll be back ready to go. But that didn't work out that way. I had the flu, it turned into strep throat and a severe fever, and I was down for 2 weeks, I think, maybe. And then that we took that into the new year, unfortunately, and that led to pneumonia. So I went from the flu to strep throat to pneumonia, which is what I'm currently dealing with right now and what I'm trying to battle at the end of. And so basically, for the last month of my life, I've been dealing with all of these different sicknesses, illnesses, and I've taken more medicine in this last month than I have maybe in my whole life. So that's basically where I've been. If you're not curious, if you haven't been following with the community tab or anything. So I'm back. I feel like myself again, except for, as you can see, I'm trying to keep down coughing. I still have a little bit of, unfortunately, unfortunately, a little bit of a cough. But that just, coughs are annoying, basically. They don't go away so easily, at least not with pneumonia. So I'm here. We're going to get into the actual video. I also have a different camera. You may have noticed that when we started the video. I have a secondary camera that I'm trying out. I don't know if you guys are going to like it or if you're going to love it. Let me know down below in the comments if you do end up liking it. I just wanted to give it a shot. I think it has a chance of being better than the one that I had been using previously, but I guess we're going to find out. Let me know down below if you like it or if you don't. I can always go back to the other one we had been using previously. No big deal. So, with all that being said, I do want to say one final thing. I'm not going to be able, at least right now, to go right back into every single day videos. We will get there eventually again. We'll get back there once I'm fully healthy. But I want to ease into it, ease back into the uploads, and ease back into getting my body ready and my voice ready to record. So we're going to do a few uploads, hopefully. That's the goal every week, just to kind of ease back into it, get rid of this cough. And once it's fully ready, like fully done, and I'm fully ready to go again, then we'll go right back into every single day again, like we had been. So that's the final thing I wanted to say. So basically, let's get into the video. Thank you for sticking around. I do appreciate that so much. So this video I'm super excited about because it is a mainstay on the channel. for the past few years. Some of the biggest videos I've done have been dealing with modded Madden content, whether it's retro rebuilds or bust to baller, that's a throwback, or throwback Thursday, or whatever it may be. A lot of the important and exciting videos that I've done in the past have been with modded content on Madden, whatever Madden it is. And today we are going to be doing it because I have done videos in the past, and a lot of you guys have seen them, are the videos where people in the modding community have been able to go into the Madden 25 files, excuse me, and put together modded rosters without having to mod the actual game. So they've got like 2012, they've got 2018, they've got 2002, and today we are going to be doing, and there's a lot of draft classes that go along with that. And so it's basically modded Madden without having to without having to have a PC. So we're going to be starting all the way back in 2002 with the debut of the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans expansion franchise came into the league in 2002 and were the final new franchise in the NFL. They were team number 32. So we're going to be going all the way back there, rebuilding them from the start and taking them all the way to the modern day. At least I hope we can, if I can get through it. And so that's what this video is going to be. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. We've got all the draft classes, and I'll go through that in a second when we start the video fully. And so hope you guys are going to enjoy. If you do, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, and let's get into the video. Okay, here we are at the debut of the Houston Texans. Now, like I said, it's not truly a modded Madden because it's not on PC or anything, so it still does say 2024. We still are going to be playing 18 weeks of football, 17 games, and we're still going to be having all that modern day stuff, just with the past rosters and draft classes. And you can get all this stuff by going and watching my previous videos on the channel that show you how to download these separate rosters, and I'll tell you how to get the draft classes when we get to that point. Same thing. Say very, very simple stuff. So let's take a look at this lineup, the debut of the Houston Texans. This is the roster that they had when they started in football. It's not very good, as you would expect an expansion team to not be. So we have our main guy, David Carr, not Derek Carr, David Carr, the brother. And his career in real life did not turn out that way. I guess we'll find out if it turns out any better in this this rebuild. So he's 75 overall. Does have hidden development, which is a nice sign. At least it's a jumping off point. He's not very fast at all, but neither is Derek Carr, so not anything surprising. And he's got solid starting accuracies, really good throw power. His awareness will certainly go up as his overall does. Good under pressure. His play action throw and run's not very good, but I mean, that's not David Carr's game. And he's going to be our quarterback for at least right now. I don't know. Can't guarantee if he's going to be the quarterback the entire time. Because as we know, since we have the benefit of hindsight, there are a lot of good quarterbacks that are coming in the league in the next 20, 22 years or whatever. So there are going to be some options. The rest of the team is very bad. And I will point out that not every player has a portrait in the game, as you can see by the right tackle and the tight end and the wide receiver. I did my best to change them because David Carr had a different picture as well. He had like an actual player as his picture, but I went and changed it so it wouldn't ruin the immersion on David Carr. But I couldn't go through and change everybody, as you can see by a lot of these defense players. And a lot of them won't matter anyway because they're not going to be on the team for very long. So it's not going to be that big of a deal in the end. And all of the draft classes, or at least I think most of them have actual player portraits. So it's not going to end up being that big of a deal at all. So when this team is going to be changed very, very quickly. So this is what the defense has. There's really no redeeming qualities to this team. I mean, we do have a 90 overall superstar corner in Aaron Glenn, but he's 30. So there's not really much we can do with that, really. This team needs a lot of work, which is why I chose this to be the first team that we rebuilt in this era. And because they're new. So I thought it'd be pretty fun. But if we get to the prospects, I already have loaded in the 2003 draft class, which is Charles Rogers, Carson Palmer, and a bunch of different people, Andre Johnson, Terrence Newman, Byron Leftwich. Once we get a cycle of draft classes through, then we'll have all the player portraits, and it'll bring the immersion up a little bit higher. We just have to cycle out all the players from this original roster. I don't know where we would go. We're not going to go Carson Palmer right off the bat. We're going to be very bad. We're probably going to have the number 1 overall pick, but I don't think we're going to go Palmer. We could go Andre Johnson. The offensive linemen aren't at the top of the draft, which could end up being pretty good for us, because obviously we need every single position. So we could end up falling back in the first round and getting Jordan Gross, or maybe taking a linebacker, because there's some decent linebackers in class with Nick Barnett and E.J. Henderson along with T. Sizzle. So this is some options as some chances to be a very good draft class for us. And like I said, we have modern stuff. So we have all the modern Texans draft picks. But that won't matter in a few seasons once we simulate. But to get the draft classes, let me back out real quick of this. Actually, I need to save it real quick. I know I could just go to the autosave, but let me just save it real quick. Okay. So we save it here. Let me back out and show you how to download these draft classes so that you can play alongside me and do this stuff. So we go over here to the Creation Center, the Download Center, obviously. Bring you to all the good stuff. And you want to go over to draft classes. And there are some good ones on here, but these are some modern ones. So what I did was I went in here and I actually straight up, it just pulled it for me, which is very, very nice. I found this guy, Ninja JTB, and he actually has draft. Let me just type his name in. Search by username. Ninja JTB. So I found him, and he actually has draft classes for all of these. I don't know if he's part of the modding community or not. I would assume he is in the Discord, but he has draft classes for every year. There obviously, it says WIP, which means work in progress. So obviously these are going to continue to get updated and get adding player portraits and more players that may be missing or something like that. But I have downloaded most of these draft classes, which is what we're going to use to go through the years along with Wii Masters draft classes for the more modern time that go alongside the 2012 and 2018 rosters. So Ninja JTB, excuse me, is the person that I'm going to be using their draft classes for the early times, and they're pretty good. I went through most of them, and they have a lot of good portraits in there, and they have a lot of the top players in each draft class. So that's basically what I found in my experiments going through trying to find the right draft classes, because if I didn't have the draft classes, then what's the point of doing this type of video if you can't go through and get the real people? So if you want to follow along, then type in that person's name and download all of their rosters and check them out for yourself. I'm going to be using them in most of my videos in this era, so just so you know. Okay, so first order of business is to take a look around the league, see what we're dealing with. So the best players: Champ Bailey, Donovan McNabb, Priest Holmes, Terrell Owens, Marshall Faulk, Marvin Harrison Sr., Brett Favre, B-Doc, Peyton Manning, Randy Moss. Okay, so we kind of know what era we're in. A lot of fantastic players. It's going to be a challenge at first, but if we can have a couple good draft classes in a row, we can really do a good job and really take over. There is my boy, Eddie George. Love Eddie George. One of my favorite players of all time. Even though I didn't really get to watch him play because he's before my time. Just love Eddie George. Then we go to the wide receivers. We know who the top wide receivers of this era were. Even Jerry Rice is still balling out. There's some good players in this roster. We know some of the offensive linemen. I'm not going to go through every single position in depth because if you want to do that, you can download the roster and do it yourself. But there are some very, very good players here, and I am terrified because we've got nobody, basically. But the first real thing that I want to do is find a way to get Randy Moss. As you guys know, Randy Moss is my favorite player of all time, excluding Tom Brady. I guess I should phrase it, my favorite non-Tom Brady player of all time. So we have to find a way to get Randy Moss on this roster. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but it needs to happen. He's only 25. There's no trade packages. How do we get Randy Moss on this team? How do we get Randy Moss on this team? It might legit not be possible. They need a tight end. I'll give you Billy Miller. That's not going to work. And I don't want to give up draft picks because we know who's coming in the draft classes in the future. So we have the benefit of hindsight. We know who's coming in. So these draft classes are even more valuable than they would be in a regular rebuild. It might, with the talent or lack thereof that we have on this roster, it might simply not be possible to get Randy Moss on the team. That was my main goal, was to get Randy Moss on this team. It might simply not be possible without giving up multiple first-round picks. Aaron Glenn helps it out. He really does. They're not going to want Corey Bradford, are they? No, I think that might have even knocked it down. We have no middle linebackers that they want. I don't think they're going to want Jamie Sharper. Not really. Okay, so we're going to be bad this first year. We're going to be bad for multiple years. So this pick is basically the number one overall pick in 2003. This pick, I'd say, is probably top 3 in 2004. But then when we get to 2005, do we think we're going to be good enough to not be top 5 in 2005? I don't know. And at that point, Randy Moss is going to be like 27, 28 years old. He's going to start to get a little bit older, but we know that Randy Moss played deep into his 30s in real life. Ugh. Doing a rebuild like this is tricky because I don't want to trade my draft picks because, like I said, they're even more valuable than they are in a normal rebuild because we know what's in the future, unlike in a normal rebuild with random draft classes. So I think we're going to give up on the Randy Moss idea for now. Maybe we'll come back to it in a few seasons, but we'll give up on the Randy Moss idea for now, and then we'll simulate season 1. I'm not going to really spend too much time on season 1 because we're going to be god-awful. We'll take a look at stats really quickly, but we're going to be horrible. Hopefully we get the number 1 overall pick. I don't see why we wouldn't. I don't even know if we'll win a game this first season. We might. I guess it depends on who else is bad around the league, but we're hopefully going to be the number 1 overall pick. And having the number 1 overall pick is going to be very, very important because that gives us the chance to trade down and get multiple draft picks. And that's how you start that cycle of having multiple draft picks every single season. Then you can draft with them or trade down or trade to get another real life player, like a real good player. That's how you start the cycle. So hopefully we're really, really bad. I'm going to simulate season 1 and then we'll go from there. Okay, I wanted to bring you guys back in real quick because we're at the midseason mark. I just did the set national focus for drafting. or for scouting, and I'm hearing the player negotiations, and there's not really anybody of note. I just wanted to show you that we have so much money, 222 million. We have more money than we could ever need, or at least right now. Just wait till we start paying people that are good. But I didn't want to sign Aaron Glenn without you guys seeing. So I think I'm going to give him a 2-year deal. That's a lot of money for a over 30-year-old corner, but he wants to be back. We have plenty of money to cover his contract for the next 2 years. It's just, is it really worth it? Like, do we want to have a over 30-year-old corner who's maybe going to regress to a 80-something overall the next couple? It's tough to, I mean, we could trade him maybe get a little bit of, you know what? Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe we trade him away at the midseason mark. What can we get for him? A young Takeo Spikes. Okay. Rod Smith. Keyshawn's 30. Brian Waters, 25, left guard. Okay. There's some valuable options here. I just don't know what direction I want to go. That's not... I don't think that's... Is that the real Steve Smith? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Matt Light. Ooh. Matt Light is interesting. So is Steve Hutchinson. Okay, so Aaron Glenn got some value. Steve Hutchinson could be our left guard for the next decade. And we get a second round pick in 2004. I mean, Torrey Holt's good too. I guess, I mean, Matt Light's got the star development, which is definitely helpful. I don't think that's the Steve Smith. Hold on. Let me take a look at, is this the Steve Smith? I know that his portrait's messed up. I don't think this is the good Steve Smith. Is this the Hall of Fame Steve Smith? It might be, actually. I guess I don't know. Hold on, let me Google it. When did he come in the league? Steve Smith. Oops. Steve Smith Sr. He got drafted in 2001. So this is him. Okay. That's intriguing. That makes it... Yeah, this is him. Okay. I'll just change his portrait to a auto-generated face if I take him. Okay, that makes me more likely to want him. Now that I know it's actually... Because I know back in this day, the reason I was concerned was, or confused, is because back in this day, there's two Steve Smiths. This is before he went by Steve Smith Sr., obviously. I don't think the other Steve Smith comes in until a little bit later. But still, back in around this early 2000s, mid-2000s time, there was two Steve Smiths around the league. And one from USC, and the other one is the good one. And I was confused. Mainly I was thrown off because of his portrait, but this is the real the good Steve Smith Sr. So I might do this trade. I know that we could get Hutchinson or Matt Light, but getting a receiver of Steve Smith's quality this early into the rebuild, I think might be a good idea. So I'm going to do that trade. I'm going to take Steve Smith from Carolina and $58 million for Billy Miller. It's just not going to happen. Can I get anything for him? I know he's not nearly as valuable, but can I get anything for Billy? Booger McFarland. Okay. Not really anything else, and the draft picks aren't good either, so it's basically a player. Ryan Pickett's cool. Samari Roll. I think I'm going to do Anthony McFarland. Might as well get something for him. So let's get Booger McFarland on the team. We trade Billy Miller. I know he's our starting tight end. Oh, he needs a contract. Okay, well, I'd be more willing to pay him. So let's get him on a 5-year deal just to kind of make sure we don't have to worry about it too much. Let's pay him that much money. Good. So now we have Anthony McFarland locked up for 5 seasons. We won't have to worry about it. Hopefully he develops. I know he's got normal development, but hopefully he turns into something. And I'm pretty sure I turned on the auto-generate lineup so that it should put our guys in. Yeah, okay, so perfect. Okay, so let me just go quickly and change Steve Smith's face so that I don't get thrown off by him anymore. Let's go to appearance and go to head. And then what face do we think Steve Smith looks like? He's kind of got a round face. What does Steve Smith... What screams Steve Smith Sr.? None of these really do. Maybe... Certainly not that one. Maybe this one? That's not horrible. It's not good. It's not horrible. I might go with that one. I'm spending too much time on picking his generated face. All right, that's not a good one, but it's not the worst one I've ever seen. So now we have Steve Smith. At least David Carr has somebody to throw the football to now. The offensive line, I mean, we certainly could have used Hutchinson at offensive guard. That's for sure. But now we add Booger McFarland at defensive line. Okay, we have 2 building blocks for the future if we don't count David Carr. We currently sit at 2-5. Somehow we've won 2 games. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-6. Not what I would have expected. I know they're not like the best team in the world in this era, but still, this is obviously pre-Big Ben. I think that's the last thing that I wanted to bring you guys in for before we simulate the season. I just wanted to show you the negotiations, which ended up turning into trades. But we got Steve Smith. We got Booger McFarland. 2 nice young pieces to add to this team to pair alongside David Carr. And then we'll go through the rest of the season. Maybe win a couple more games. I have no idea. Let's find out. Okay, so we do only win those 2 games. We lost every other game the rest of the season, which is very good for us because that means we're most likely the number 1 pick. It looks like every other team that was bad kind of got better somewhat. I mean, the Titans were 2 wins alongside us. They ended up winning 7 games. Steelers won 5. Okay, so at least in the AFC, we are by far the worst team. Sharper actually led the league in tackles, which is awesome. So that's good for him. Maybe he'll get star development or something. Help us out a little bit. Okay, so this is the playoff bracket if you're curious. The Eagles and Saints are the 4-5 on the NFC side. My camera's covering that. But that's the playoff bracket if you're curious for this 2002-2003 season. We do see some decent development from our guys, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So David Carr is revealed to have star. No shocker there. But he's actually an 80 overall. He's just playing down with the morale. So some good development from David Carr. He went up like 5 overall. I think he started like a 75. So he goes up to an 80. Huge. Steve Smith's still an 83. How did Booger do? He went up to a 78. Okay. So our young guys showing some promise. Sharper is a 78 as well. Maybe he'll get star. Who knows? We have to get to the Super Bowl week for that. But we'll take a quick peek at season stats just to kind of see how our young guys did. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I am Gary Kubiak as the coach. I know that he doesn't come in until a couple years into the Texans' time as a franchise, but the first guy that was the head coach of the Texans, I didn't even really know who he was. So I didn't want to pick him. So I just picked Gary Kubiak. So David Carr, 3,700 yards, 18 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. It's not a great season, but to be fair, he's not throwing to anybody other than Steve Smith, I would think. So you gotta kind of you gotta weigh it out because he doesn't have any. He has a horrible offense line. He's got no defense. He's got no weapons except for Steve Smith. So to be fair, these are probably better numbers than you would think with what he's got. He's also got no run game. Horrible from Jonathan Wells, but he's got no offensive line to run behind. Steve Smith had 978 and 8 touchdowns. I don't know how much of that is with the Panthers previously before we traded for him. So that's still a very good season. And I think I'll have to check. I don't know if I changed the playbooks before we started the video because I set up this video before I got sick. So it's been like a month that I had this video idea ready to go. So I don't remember if I changed the playbooks or not. But Jamie Sharper, 147 tackles, no sacks, 1 pick, 11 TFLs. I don't know if that's good enough for a development rate. Maybe it is. Actually, Anthony McFarland, 7.5 sacks, leads the team along with Gary Walker. So we got decent pressure in the backfield, as you can see by a few tackles for loss and sacks. Interceptions, yeah, we have no defense. So I wouldn't expect to get any interceptions or anything. And I would think we are the number 1 overall pick, but who knows? So let me take a look at the playbooks. Did I change them? I don't remember. That's the wrong thing. Let's go back out of that and go to the team schemes. Did I change the playbooks or not? I didn't. So we're still running Texans, D'Amico Ryans. Okay. So maybe in the future, once we start getting some promising talent and actually have a shot at making the playoffs, maybe then we will switch playbooks. I probably won't go Kansas City right away. Maybe we go to Baltimore, depending on who our quarterback is, or Buffalo or Cincinnati or whatever. It's going to be the Saints. And speaking of Buffalo, the Bills and Saints in the Super Bowl. Okay. So this shows you the era that the NFL was in back in this time. Although the Bills did not play in this Super Bowl, obviously. Neither did the Saints. I think it was 2003, probably would have been Patriots, right? Well, 2002. So the 2002 season, the Super Bowl would have been played in 2003, which is what we're in right now. So that's probably Raiders-Bucks with like the John Gruden championship with the Bucks, because then the Patriots get it against is it the Panthers first or is it the Eagles first? I think it's the Panthers first, and then they play the Eagles back to back, or then they go back to back with the Eagles. They get their 2 with Brady. No, yeah, because they already had 1-1 in 2001. Okay, I got it. So it goes Patriots in 2001 against the Rams, greatest show on turf. Then it's the Bucks in 2002. Then it's Patriots because they beat Panthers Eagles or Eagles Panthers. I can't remember which order it is. I think it's Panthers Eagles. Then in 2005, who's 2005? Is that the Steelers? No, Ben doesn't win one in his second year, does he? 2005 Super Bowl. I'm forgetting 2005. 2006 is the Colts. It's Colts Bears, I think, right? And that's the one that Peyton gets. I think that's right. And then 2007 is the Patriot undefeated season. Then they lose the Giants in the Super Bowl, which still haunts me, even as a child. 2008. Who would have won in 2008? Super Bowl champion. Can't remember who the 2008 Super Bowl champion. I think 2009. Was that the Saints? Was that Breeze? No, I think he's a little bit later. He might have been 2010. No, 2010 was the Steelers. I think. I don't know. The years get me confused sometimes. I don't know. I'm going off on a random rant. I don't need to. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video was to think of who this, or the point of the whole thing I got on this Super Bowl, who won the Super Bowl, was to decide who won the 2002 one, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So anyway, moving on. Let's get to the off season, because we need to see dev trade upgrades if we got any. and we need to get ready for free agency. I don't know what the free agency is going to look like because I have no idea what the contract situation is for anybody in the league. So it could be good, it could be horrible. I'm guessing it's going to be horrible, but I guess we'll have to find out. So let's just take a look at what the roster looks like right now. So we get no depth trade upgrades across the offense. Not surprising. What about defense? He did. And so did Booger. That's huge. That's really, really massive. So Sharper, I'm assuming he won Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just went up naturally. But Booger McFarland going up to star is absolutely massive because having him at normal was kind of annoying. Steve Smith will get there eventually once we get an offense around him. Okay, so season recap. What happened? So no Defensive Player of the Year. He just went up naturally. The Bills win the Super Bowl. So it's their first title in franchise history. Donovan McNabb is the MVP of the league. And the Offensive Player of the Year. Jason Taylor, Defensive Player of the Year. Don't Google his sister. Javon Walker and Dwight Freeney are the Rookies of the Year. So no awards for us, but we do get some good individual depth traits, which is very, very nice. We could take a look at the mock drafts to find out if we are the number one pick. We are. Okay. So at mock draft number 4, they have us taking Charles Rogers. I don't think that's going to happen. In this draft, obviously, they take Andre Johnson. The Texans do. I think the best option is to do what I said at the beginning, which is to trade down from number 1, accumulate so many other picks that we have so much ammo to do in the future. So I think that's gonna be what we're gonna do. I don't think we're gonna take anybody at number 1. Certainly not Charles Rogers. I know, no disrespect to a great player, but it's not gonna be him. Players ready to negotiate. I think we're already done with that. Yeah, it looks like we are. I certainly don't want any of these guys back. That'd be a waste of dollar bills. Okay, so those guys are all gone. I did forget to set the correct scouts. So our scouts are like quarterback, tight end is our national scout. So I will try to remember that for season 2. I forgot about that going into the beginning. Okay, free agency. We have so much money. Mike Allstott, Ron Stone, Wayne Gandy at 32. I don't really want to put like a patchwork offensive line together. I just don't think that's really the move. Free agency class is just not good. That is most certainly not David Boston. I'll tell you that much. Rest in peace, David Boston. If I sign him, which he wants to be here, and at 25 years old, 75 overall, that's not a bad shout, actually. I would change him to be similar to what he is, or what he was in real life. It's not a great free agent class. First, Browns quarterback since they came back, Tim Couch. Kickers used to go so crazy. 43 years old, that's insane. Rodney Harrison is intriguing. 3 teams are after him. We could obviously outbid anybody if we wanted to. Martin Gramatica? I don't want to spend the top free agent money on Mike Allstott. That just doesn't make any sense. Ron Stone is 32. Like I said, putting together a patchwork offensive line I don't think is the move, even though it probably would help us in the short term. I just don't think that's the way to go. I am going to put some money on Rodney Harrison. I'll give him a 3-year deal. I don't know what the other player or the other teams have offered him, so I'll go $5 million across the board. We'll see where that lands us. That puts us at 3rd, tied with the Browns and the Lions. I don't really want to go much more than that. He's 30. He's already a 77, so he's not going to do much. I think I'm going to keep it there. If we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't. It's not going to be the end of the world. The guy that I want to go after, though, I think is David Boston, and I'll change his portrait once he signs with us. But I will give him a solid offer. We might need a running. Maybe I'll just draft a running. I don't know. These early years are super hard to decide what direction I want to go with the team. Where do I want to take the team? We need a tight end, but nobody here is better than what we have. Oh, Dan Campbell. Maybe I signed Dan Campbell just for the memes. He's getting a big time bonus, that's for sure. All right, Dan. I'm not going to put together an offensive line that's just not very good. It might be smart to get somebody in the 70s, maybe, especially a guard. But we could maybe draft somebody. So like I said, this is tricky. It's tricky to put together a team at the beginning. What direction do you want to go? We already have Booger McFarland. There's no defensive lineman that I want. There's really no outside linebackers or middle line. I see Teddy Bruschi there, but Bruschi is unfortunately 30 years old. His time is passing. We do need at least one corner. Fernando Bryant is 26 years old, 80 overall, has 14 teams offering him a contract. I don't think that's the right idea. I mean, we could obviously, it wouldn't hurt us at all to pay him, but I think there's other areas, other directions we could go, I guess. Safeties, we're going after Rodney already. We did jump into number 2, actually, over the Lions. The Browns are number 1. Like I said, if we get him, cool. If we don't, not the biggest deal in the world. So we're going after 3 people. Dan Campbell, David Boston, and Rodney Harrison. We should be able to get all 3 of them. Or at least we should be able to get Boston and Campbell. And my L3 button is not working right now for some reason. Come on. You gonna work? I just want to evaluate the offers. There we go. We got Boston and Campbell. We did not get Rodney Harrison. He chose the Lions, actually. Okay, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But I will go and adjust David Boston so he's not some, for lack of a better term, white guy. All right, David Boston, where you at? There you are. Okay. Let's edit David Boston. Rest in peace to the Buckeye. And honestly, I mean, that face scan is not too bad. It's just we have to change it to so this player portrait is not some old white guy. Let's just pick some random one. This is it's fine. It's not David Boston, but anything is better than what his player portrait was. So there we go. David Boston. He's actually going to be our number 2 wide receiver over Bradford, obviously. David Carr. Okay, so now we have 2 somewhat competent wide receivers. We just need David Carr to be a somewhat competent quarterback and throw them the football. And I think he can do that. We'll get to the draft and then make our decision officially on what we want to do in terms of trading it or not. I think the move is obviously to trade it. Like I said, recoup all of the draft picks, multiple first-round picks, the next couple years, all that kind of stuff. I think that's the move. It's just the real question is how far do we trade down? That's the real question. So we know the true talent of D tackle, which is good. We could certainly use another D tackle to pair alongside our guy Booger McFarland. Who do I want to scout though? That's the big question. We don't need a quarterback, at least not right now. Hey, look at that. Cliff Kingsbury's down here. And Big Dog Tony Romo's down here. Isn't that something? And Ken Dorsey. Oh, God. There's some quarterbacks in this class. Maybe we pick up Tony Romo as a backup, as an undrafted guy or something. Running back, we definitely need one. But does it come in this class? If it does, it comes in the form of one of these 2 guys. At wide receiver, we do like Andre Johnson a lot, but he's going to be gone very quickly. I hate David Tyree. Tricky. We definitely need tight end, but it's really 3 guys. Dallas Clark, Jason Witten, Shanko. I never know how to pronounce his last name. Oh, maybe not. I didn't see Antonio Gates down here. I am going to put Antonio Gates on the list. He's definitely a guy that I would consider scouting. So let's add him. Add Antonio Gates. Okay, left tackles. Kwame Harris. Not the greatest offensive line class. Kind of annoying because we're in desperate need of an offensive line. Dan Coppin, Patriot legend. Not sure he's the direction we go. David Deal. Is it Deal? I think it's Deal. I don't know. Who cares? And then obviously Jordan Gross. He's probably a guy that we should add to the list because he could be our right tackle of the future or left tackle of the future. Who knows? Defensive line. Nobody on the left side. There's a good run of guys right here. Calvin Pace, O.C. Minora, and Robert Mathis. Robert Mathis has a round 3 to 4 projection on him. That's really valuable. Chris Clemens, decent too. Robert Mathis is probably that third guy that we use the scout on. Because getting a guy, Matt Wilhelm, love Matt Wilhelm. Terrell Suggs though, he could play on the line too. Nick Barnett, EJ Henderson. Lance Briggs is cool. This is a decent corner class, and we got the corners up to like 80%. Peanut Tillman, Terrence Newman. I mean, we need every single position. So, Asante Samuel down here around 3 to 4. There's a good chance we can get some real good value later in this draft. The safety, Donnie Nicky, Buckeye legend. And then there's the guy, Troy Polamalu. I think Robert Mathis is who we use our final one on. I think it's just the smartest way to go because he's around 3 to 4. So we have Robert Mathis. We have 2 other guys. I forget who they were, but hopefully they're available when we pick. And I want to go to the player personnel side. I want to start buying up this stuff to make it easier for us to maneuver our way in the draft. If we need to trade 1 for 1 at some point. We're not going to be able to buy all of it, unfortunately. But a lot of it has been bought. And that's a very key thing that a lot of people underestimate. A lot of people forget when they do rebuilds in Madden. Is you want to buy out that whole trading side of the player personnel tree. Because on normal trade difficulty, you can trade draft picks 1 for 1 first round up. Like, say you have pick 29. If you trade with pick 28, 1 for 1, and you have all that side of the tree, you can go 1 for 1, nothing else added, and the CP will accept it. And you can keep doing that up until you get to, like, I think the limit is like round or pick 3, I think is when it starts to get a little bit tough. But for the most part, you can do that. Sometimes it won't let you do it. Sometimes you'll have to go, or you can even do 1 for 2, which means trading pick 29 for pick 27. Most of the time that works. Sometimes they'll not let you do it, and you have to go 1 for 1. So, yeah, basically, I've done that in every rebuild I ever do to make it easier to trade draft picks around. So that's just a little fun fact for you if you didn't know. I say that in most rebuilds anyway. But let's get to the draft. Steve McNair wants the Titans to draft a wide receiver. Could be Andre Johnson. Who knows? All right. Mock draft number 5. Still has us taking Charles Rogers. I think the right move is to trade down. That just seems the most obvious. The biggest question is, how far do we trade down? I guess the only way to answer that question is to actually go to the draft, click the offers, and find out who wants to trade. So let's start drafting. We have the number 1 overall pick. We will make sure that we have the draft paused just to make sure. And we will trade away the number 1 overall pick. What are we getting offered? The Bears are offering us number 7, which is not bad. Plus, obviously, the 2 extra firsts. The Bengals are giving us 3 firsts, 3 seconds, but we'd have to move down all the way to 19. 15 for the Broncos. 9 for the Browns, 12 for the Vikings, 10-3, but we only get one extra first round pick. 18 for the Seahawks. See, if I were to do a double trade, which let's say I trade with the Baltimore Ravens, we get all this stuff, but number 4 is not nearly as valuable as number 1 is. So we wouldn't get, if I try to trade number 4 again after that, we wouldn't get much. So this has really got to be the one trade. It's just a matter of how far do I want to go down. Whatever trade I pick, it's going to be involving 2 extra first round picks. So you can pretty much guarantee that. So far, the Seahawks have given me the most interesting, although the Chiefs now at 17, because they're also giving me a second. They're giving me their first, second, and third from this year, which is very valuable, especially when we saw a lot of guys valued around that range. And we still get the 2 extra first round picks. How far do I want to trade down? 17 is not that far. I think I could pivot and trade with the Chiefs at 17 as long as Polamalu is not valued any higher than 17. And I don't think he is, no. Okay. So Troy Polamalu's at the back end of the first round. I like that a lot. Because Polamalu might end up being my first round pick. We establish ourselves with a great safety. We do lose out on like Terrell Suggs, Andre Johnson, some very talented players, Jordan Gross. We lose out on some great players, but there's going to be great players in the next million drafts. There's never going to be another Troy Polamalu. So I think 17 is the right idea. We also get a second and a third from this year, which could help us get Robert Mathis. It could help us get whoever. And we still end up with the first round picks from the next couple of years in 2004 and 2005. So, and we get a second round pick from next year as well. So I think this Chiefs offer is the best way to go. We're going to take the Chiefs offer. They move all the way up to number 1. Who are they going to take with it? They take Ty Warren. All right. Good luck with that. Cardinals take Charles Rogers. The Steelers will take Carson Palmer. Bengals fans, look away. Ravens take Andre Johnson. I would have loved to have him. I just didn't think it was the right idea. Who got taken? Williams? Who was that? Kevin Williams. Okay. I could just simulate to my pick. Terrence Newman to the Bears. Panthers take Peanut Tillman. That would have been funny if the Bears took Peanut Tillman. T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs goes to the Browns. Ravens fans look away. Jordan Gross goes to the Titans. All right, let's just sim to my pick. So Dallas Clark, Dwayne Robertson, Jimmy Kennedy, Byron Leftwich is a Giant. Okay. Beautiful. And we sit at number 17 with some decent players still available, like Sexy Rexy, EJ Henderson, but our guy, Troy Polamalu, is the way to go. So we will take him. I don't want to see what his model looks like, though. It's probably going to be not great. And, you know what? That's not a bad model. That's not a bad model. I can live with that. I can live with that. He was the number 1 player in the draft? No way he's the number 1 player in the draft. Is he? He's really the number 1 player in this 2003 draft? Okay. I had no idea that was the case. But we've got Troy Polamalu. Our franchise safety has been acquired. So now we don't pick again until the first pick of the second round. So we can skip all the way to that. Who is going to be available at round 2 at pick 1? I was hoping that Anquan Bolden made it, but he looks like he got taken. But Willis McGahee is here. So is Mike Doss, though. Now, remember, we do have that other pick from the Chiefs. So we have 2 second-round picks. So I think we use this pick on Willis McGahee. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think we use this pick on Willis McGahee. We get a running back. He's probably not going to be our franchise running back, but at least he's a running back that can do some damage. So Willis McGahee, ranked number 9 in true value. He has hidden development, 91 speed, very good player. And he's going to be our running back for a couple of years. We'll skip to our next second round pick. And O.C. Manura got taken a couple picks ahead by the Broncos. That was probably going to be the direction I went. Okay, so with O.C. being gone, where do we go from here? What's the move? Is this just where we take Robert Mathis? Or we could take Jason Witten here. That might not be a bad idea. Maybe that's where we pivot to. And then we hope that Mathis makes it to the 3rd round. Asante Samuel's also still here. And remember, we have 2 third-round picks as well, thanks to the Chiefs. So I think this is where we take Jason Witten. We don't overthink it. We take one of the Hall of Fame tight ends. We grab Jason Witten. He's number 13 true value. And actually, his player model is in the game. It just doesn't have any hair. I forgot he went bald at the end of his career. Jason Witten, big-time pickup in the 2nd round. Okay, next pick is the top of the 3rd round. Okay, top of the 3rd round, what's available? This probably is the Asante Samuel pick, if I think about it. Unless there's somebody else that I think fits better. Nate Burleson. Asante Samuel, Vashante Shenko, and then there's Robert Mathis. I think Robert Mathis has a good chance of making it to our next pick, the 3rd round pick with the Chiefs. So I think this is the Asante Samuel pick. Let's take him. We get our number 1 corner, at least for right now, our number 1 corner. He's number 3 in true value. That does not look like Asante Samuel, but that's a huge pickup. Get a number 1 corner. And we don't have to wait too long for our next pick. Did he go? Yes. Okay. Robert Mathis makes it to our 3rd round pick at 74. So we will go and grab him. And we are killing this draft. Absolutely killing it. This is how you build a team, ladies and gentlemen. Number 29 in true value for Robert Mathis. Hidden dev, 86 acceleration. Great player. Fantastic. We are absolutely killing this draft. Doing a really good job. But now we make it to the 4th round. A lot of my guys that I had on the list are now taken. We got them all. Most of them. Could take a Brandon Lloyd, big Brandon Lloyd guy. Matt Wilhelm, I like. Ooh, but David Deal or Dahl. We probably do need to, at some point, focus on offensive line. I think it might be David that we go with. I don't think we need Matt Wilhelm, even though I do like him. Or Brandon Lloyd. Getting David Boston free agency makes it so I don't think we need Brandon Lloyd. But David Dahl or Deal, I don't know how to say his name. I'm just going to say Deal. Or I'm going to call him David Dahl. Who cares? I don't think he's day 3. So there's a good chance that he makes it to round 5. Brandon Lloyd, I don't know if he makes it past this 4th round. So I'm going to take Brandon Lloyd here. This is a risky pick. We don't really need a wide receiver, a 3rd one, necessarily. But I'm going to take him and risk David Dahl not being there. Oh, no. We didn't have we had a late 5th round pick. He might be gone. David Tyree. Donnie Nicky. I don't see him on. It doesn't mean he didn't get taken. I just don't see him on this 5th round board. Oh, he's probably gone, isn't he? Yeah, I think he is. He was at the top of the day 3, guys. I messed up. That's my fault. I thought that we had just the 1st round pick, the first pick of every round. That's my bad. That's my bad. Now we lose out on a pretty solid offensive lineman. I'll probably grab Tony Romo at some point. We don't need to grab him right now. Just don't want to forget about him. Ooh, Antonio Gates is right. I forgot about that. Okay. How many picks do I have left? That's the big question. I need to see. So I do know that I have a 6th round pick because it's telling me. How many picks do I have? Draft picks. Okay, so I have... Oh, it's because it's not ours. It's from Buffalo. That's right. Okay. So I have this pick, 2, 6, and a 7. Okay, so I can make this work. Where do we do... Where do we draft here? I think offensive line's out of the question. There's just nobody there that's going to be worth it. Tully Banta-Kane is available. I saw that. Maybe another corner. Julian Battle. I mean, none of these guys are... Their awareness is horrible. Too many Fs. Too many Fs to take. Free safety. Maybe I'll just take the guys that are projected and then just simulate out of. That's probably the smarter thing to do. So let's take Antonio Gates, grab another tight end. We have 2 tight ends in this class. I'm not mad at that because we had no tight ends. And then we'll take what's his face, Tony Romo, with this pick, and that's probably the rest of the draft. I think I'll just sim out of the rest of the draft here. Let's take Tony Romo. Keep him from being undrafted. Good job, Tony. Number 36 in true value. Look at that. Okay. So we got David Carr, some competition. And then we can skip to the end of the draft, and the year 1 draft is done. Now, after this year, I'm going to go a little bit quicker so that we can get through a lot of seasons. I just wanted to go a little bit slower to kind of get you guys familiar with this era and the rebuild that we're doing here. So we will start to go a little bit quicker. So Troy Polamalu ends up being a 79 overall. Awesome. Willis McGahee, 74. Fine. Jason Witten's a 73. Samuel's a 75. Mathis a 71. Brandon Lloyd's a 62. No big deal there. 68 for Antonio Gates. And then they took this dude, Tron LaFavor. I don't know who this is. I went to user pick, didn't I? I don't know. Whatever. We got Tony Romo out of it. Not sure who that is. The best player in the class we know was Troy Polamalu because it said it was the number 1 player in the class. Kevin Williams, Andre Johnson, Terrence Newman, Terrell Suggs. Okay. And then we got Asante Samuel right up there as well. So, killer first class. Absolutely killer first class. We moved to year number 2. I'm not sure how much better we'll be. Obviously, we have better overall talent than we did in year 1. But the offensive line is still not very good. The offensive line is very bad. So, I mean, the interior is just not great. But David Carr at least has some weapons now. So this is where we're going to start to see if David Carr is going to be the guy for us for the long haul. We have him, Willis McGahee. We have 2 wide receivers, including 3, including Brandon Lloyd, but he's super low overall. And then we have Jason Witten and Antonio Gates. And then on defense, we add in Asante Samuel, who I'm just going to give the number 1 cornerback spot to. Robert Mathis is going to start right away. Polamalu. We have Sharper, who's a surprise. And then we have Booger McFarland and Walker, who played pretty well last year. So, okay. The team is starting to come together. Very, very slowly. But across the board, we're over the overalls that we were. So we're up like 4 everywhere, which is awesome. And we will see how this team does. I will go to the next year. I'll pick it back up at week number 1 so I can show you guys the draft class and everything. I do want to get my scouts correct before that, so I'm going to go and do that. Get the preseason over with. Do everything there. I'll pick it back up in week number 1. Show you guys the 2004 draft class, which is pretty infamous. And then we'll move on from there. Okay, so I have arrived at week number 1. We got the scouts all correct the way that I want them for right now. And the prospects have been loaded in, so let's take a look at them. Obviously, this is the 2004 draft with Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers, also Big Ben, but the Steelers don't need Big Ben anymore because they took Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, Sean Taylor, Robert Gallery, D'Angelo Hall. This is a good class. There's some very, very good people here. So it's a good thing we have 2 first-round picks. Hopefully the Chiefs are bad this year. But there are some very, very helpful players that can make this team very good very quickly. Offensive line-wise, which is probably the biggest need for the team, it's not a lot. You've obviously got Gallery. You've got nobody else. At guard, you've got Chris Snee, who's fine. At center, we're going to have to wait a little bit on offensive line, I think. Because the offensive line class isn't amazing. No big deal. We can get good everywhere else. And maybe free agency is where we fix the offensive line. Who knows? But it's year number 2. Year 2 for David Carr. He's actually got weapons on the offense. I'm going to simulate the season, and I'll catch you guys at the end of year number 2 with the results, and hopefully, probably still pretty bad. I guess we'll find out. I don't know. I guess I want us to be kind of bad, but also have some good development. But I really want the Chiefs to be bad. So let's simulate and find out. End of season 2, we did improve quite a bit. 6 wins after year 1. We won 2. That's quite a bit of improvement for the Houston Texans here. Stats on the season. Wait, first off, let's take a look at how the Chiefs did. 8-9. That's not as good or not as bad as I wanted them to be. They actually almost made the playoffs. The Browns went 3-14. Ravens are 5-12. So we were not by any means the worst team in the league in year number 2, which is kind of annoying, but I knew we weren't going to be horrible with the new talent, the rookies that we added. And David Carr is getting better. He's even got QB of the future as his starter, or as his tag. 20 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 4,000 yards. Pretty decent season. We need to get Willis McGahee in offensive line because he's getting no push. 3.3 per carry. He's getting killed. Steve Smith got over 1,000 yards. David Boston was 1 yard away. Kind of annoying he didn't get it. Corey Bradford had a decent season for some reason. Jason Witten, 630, 3 touchdowns. Okay. Defensively, Sharper again led the team in tackles. Not as much, I don't think. I can't remember from last year what he had, but still a very good season. Troy Polamalu killed it. No interceptions, though. Kind of interesting. Samuel, good season, 1 interception. Tackle for loss, Booger McFarland, Gary Walker. And Booger McFarland's killing inside. Didn't he have like 7.5 last year? Now he got 10.5. He's killing it. That was such a good pickup. I'm so happy we made that trade for him. And the interceptions are not really coming. We'll have to work on that. Maybe it's the playbook. That's the problem. I don't know. But the interceptions are not being thrown our way. Okay. Quick little look at the playoff picture. The Niners and the Bucks are the teams 4-5 in NFC side that my camera was covering. And let's get to the Super Bowl. I feel like with the improvement from 2 wins to 6 wins, we're really not that far away from a playoff appearance in this rebuild, which is kind of shocking. It is going to be Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl, 1 versus 1. Bills obviously won it last year. We'll see if they can get it done back to back. Will the Bills be back to back Super Bowl champions? I'm hoping maybe with that 1,000-yard season from Steve Smith. I know it wasn't much over 1,000 yards, but maybe with that 1,000-yard season, he can go to star development. That'd be really huge. Really, really huge. Okay, so we got a bunch of filler players on the roster that we upgrade. How does the team look depth trait-wise and just progress-wise? No, Steve Smith doesn't get up to star, which is okay, but it's kind of annoying. We will move Brandon Lloyd up the board a little bit. Romo has X Factor, actually. Okay. Willis McGahee has superstar. Awesome. Jason Witten and Antonio Gates both have superstar. Awesome. And then defense, Palomalo has X Factor. Not really shocked about that. Samuel has superstar. I am kind of shocked about that. And Robert Mathis has star. Huge. We had some big draft picks. Some really, really big draft picks this first year. That's going to help us out a lot. We just need to fill out the rest of the team. Excuse me. Tony Romo having X Factor is kind of hilarious. I was really hoping Steve Smith would have star, though. So who won the Super Bowl? It is the Eagles, denying Buffalo their back-to-back. McNabb wins both league MVP and Super Bowl MVP, so he's kind of killing it. Terrell Owens and Derek Brooks are the offense and defense player of the year, but Owens is on the 49ers, not the Eagles. Charles Rogers and Joe Odom are your rookies of the year. So Charles Rogers got picked, what, third, second, something like that? And he wins offensive rookie of the year, so it looks like it was a pretty good pickup for the Cardinals, I think is who got him. Who cares? We need to find out what our game plan is for the offseason here. Year number 2 offseason. What's the game plan? I will cut all of these 0 overall guys. They're just roster filler. They'll get moved. So, negotiations. We're still over 200 million. So I'm not worried about money. I am worried about a 31-year-old Gary Walker. He's had 2 solid seasons, but this draft class has a couple of pass rushers that could be replacing him if we're able to get in position to get them. And I think 50 million is probably a little bit too rich for my blood. So we might just move you to another team, Gary. But for what? Preferably an offensive lineman. It doesn't look like that's going to be an option unless I choose an offensive lineman myself. Deion Branch, I'm a big Deion Branch guy. Tony Pashos? Don't know. Chester Taylor. Plaxico, okay. I might have to make a trade myself. Let's take a look at, we need like right guard. That's like one of our biggest needs. I think right guard and center are the biggest needs. So there's David Dahl. He's a superstar. Oh, I really wish I would have got him. I messed that up. That's my fault. Will Shields. Who's the guy that we go after? I mean, the offensive line class in the NFL is just not really great. LaCharles Bentley would be huge. I mean, LaCharles Bentley would be massive. I thought he was a center, though. Can I get LaCharles Bentley? That's going to be pretty much impossible. He's a superstar. He's 90 overall, and he's super young. I'd have to give up way too much. That's not the move. I would love to get him. It's just not the move. There's somebody else here for us. Would they be willing to get... I mean, he's only an 81 overall. Would they be willing to give me him? I think I can make that work. We'll come back to that if I don't find anybody else. I think I can make that work. Brandon Moore. Roberto Garza's not bad. He's just got 1 year of control. I think we'd have to offer him a new contract. Maybe we go for Roberto Garza and then just re-sign him because we have the money. Let's see if they just do this straight up. They probably will. Okay, straight up. That's fine. I don't need anything else for him. And we will... Okay, we'll have to offer Roberto next year. Okay. So we get a right guard. I don't know if he's going to be... He's probably not the right guard for the long haul, but at least he's something on the offensive line. Yeah, at least he's something. So I'm okay with that for now. We need to go to free agency and see what's available, because that might be where we patch this line even further. So that's just going to be the 0 overall, guys, I think. Jamal Lewis. Wow. Okay. That's really huge. He's only normal development, but he's 25 and he's an 87 overall. The rest of the class is not great. Nile Diggs, he's got 10 offers. The rest of the class is not really good. Which is not a shocker. We're still in the old players pool, I guess. I will offer Seabass. Sebastian Janikowski. He'll get a 7-year deal from me because I don't want to worry about kicker ever. Okay. So, Jamal Lewis is the big question. I don't think we need him. Which is crazy to say. But I think we need to spend that money in other positions that need it more. Because we just drafted Willis McGahee, who's got superstar development. I think I'll go after Nile Diggs. I know that we have to go up against 10 other teams. But the Dolphins are offering him crazy money. Okay. I'll offer him another contract. And if we're still not better than what the Dolphins are offering, then we'll just give up on him. I don't want to go. He's 26. I don't want to overpay him and lock into like a crazy contract. I know I already kind of am. We'll see what the Dolphins are doing here. Okay, we're battling right there with the Dolphins. I think I'm going to keep it like that. These will be my only 2 signings. Maybe. I mean, there's just not a lot of offensive linemen that I really want. John Welborn, 28, 80 overall. Maybe we grab him for a season, 2 seasons, that's fine. He at least is something better than what we have at guard right now. Everybody signed. We got Seabass, we got Welborn. We did not get Nile Diggs. He must have signed with the Dolphins. Did he? Where's he at? Here he is. Yeah, he chose the Dolphins. I tried. He just chose the Dolphins. We were neck and neck with them. We were neck and neck with Miami. But he chose them. That's okay. No big deal. We can find a spotted outside linebacker for a draft pick or something. Okay, so generate the best lineup. We've got Welborn now in at guard. So we fixed the offensive line somewhat. At least it's not like sub 70 overall players starting there. We still obviously need to do a permanent job. This is kind of a patchwork offensive line. We've got an okay quarterback, a good running back, a really good wide receiver. And then on defense, obviously we've got Polamalu, we've got Booger, we've got Robert Mathis, Asante Samuel. The pieces are coming together. It's just taking a while. 2 seasons in, taking a little bit of time to figure this out. We also need to see mock draft number 5, and which is right here, and see where we're picking. So the Browns have number 1. They're going to take Eli Manning. I wonder if he'd hold out for that. And then Bennett, number 3 to the Panthers. Larry to the Cardinals. I don't know if I want to ruin that. We have number 6, which I think is our own pick. So they want us to take Roy Williams. I don't hate that. I don't think that's the direction we're going to go, but I don't hate that. And then we also have number 10, or number 12, excuse me, which is the Chiefs pick. Sean Taylor's right above me, or right below me. I think Sean Taylor is who we take with the Chiefs pick at 12. I got to go offensive line, right? But there's no offensive line other than Robert Gallery before us that I would consider taking. We're in a weird spot at number 6. I could take Will Smith, rest in peace to the GOAT. Could take Will Smith, but I don't know. 6 and 12 are such weird spots to take. I'm gonna take Sean Taylor. That's a pretty pretty much a guarantee, because then that gives us our free safety and our strong safety completely done for the next decade. So pretty much cool there. 12, we know what we're doing. But 6 is such a weird spot that I don't know where I want to go. I could trade up to get Larry Fitzgerald, pair him alongside Steve Smith Sr. That would be a match made in literal heaven. But is that the move? Jonathan Vilma, not a bad shout. Obviously, Big Vince Wilfork's huge. I love Big Vince. I might even put one on him just to find out how good he is. Him and Booger McFarland would be a nice pair along that defensive line. But offensive line still just kind of freaks me out. Chris Gamble. I wonder how fast they made Chris Gamble this, because he was a demon. And I might make him the pick, actually. I might make him the third guy. D'Angelo Hall. The rest of the cornerback room is not great, other than maybe a couple guys a little bit later down the board. I might make it Chris Gamble. Okay, so those are the 3 guys that we're going to scout. Sean Taylor is a guarantee at 12. We're going to take him. At 6, I guess we have to see where the board plays out, how the board plays out. And Steve McNair, for the second year in a row, wants the Titans to draft a wide receiver. Obviously, they didn't do it in year number 1. Will they do it this year? I have no idea. Okay, Browns are at number 1. And they are projected to take Eli Manning. Will they do it? They will. Eli Manning is a Cleveland Brown. Would he hold out and not want to play for the Browns? Maybe. That is certainly not Eli Manning. I could have sworn he had a player model in the game. I guess not. Cowboys at 2 take Robert Gallery. So the board is going exactly how the mock draft said it would. Panthers take Big Ben at 3. I'm pretty sure Ben has one. So we'll see him walk out. And he does. Okay, there you go. In the bow tie? Okay, Ben. All right, so Big Ben's playing in Carolina. Eli's playing in Cleveland. Is this going to be Larry Fitzgerald? It is. I was kind of hoping he'd fall. Larry Fitzgerald headed to play for Arizona. I would have felt disgusting inside if I would have changed, if I would have traded up and taken Larry from Arizona. And then the Ravens take Phillip Rivers. So Rivers headed to the Baltimore Ravens. So the top 3 quarterbacks have gone off, and then it's Robert Gallery and Larry Fitz. This is where we pick. Sean Taylor is the number 1 player on the board, but the mock draft said that he wouldn't go till 12. Do I trust the mock draft? Or do I panic and take him now? Now I'm kind of scared. Vince Wilfork actually ends up being top 5 true talent. Oh, now I'm confused because D'Angelo Hall is also here. There's 4 guys that I want. I want Sean Taylor. I want D'Angelo Hall. I want Will Smith. And I want Vince Wilfork. But I only have 2 picks. And one of them pretty much already taken up for Sean Taylor. But now I'm scared that the mock draft is not going to follow and somebody's going to take Sean Taylor before 12. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. It's never good to be scared when drafting. You got to have confidence. You got to have a plan. But my plan is now changed because I don't know if they would take Sean. I'm going to take Sean Taylor. You don't want to be scared when you're drafting because that makes you make bad decisions. I can't lose out on Sean Taylor. I simply cannot. He's too much of a freak to not have paired alongside Troy Polamalu. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame secondary right there. He might have fallen to 12. I just couldn't take that risk. But now we see. We have 3 options. We have D'Angelo Hall, we have Will Smith, and we have Vince Wilfork. One of those 3 is going to be there at 12. That's the hope. And it's Dunta Robinson goes to the Commanders. Harris goes to the Bears. Maybe all 3 of them. Roy Williams heading to the Vikings. Okay. There's only 2 picks. And it's D'Angelo Hall to the Steelers. Okay. D'Angelo Hall fell a lot further than I thought he would. And then it's Will Smith. Oh, they go back to back. They go back to back. I guess that makes our pick easy. It makes it Vince Wilfork is the guy that we're going to take. But the fact that they went back to back is kind of crazy. Okay. Big Vince. I doubt he has a player model. I don't know, though. I guess we can see and find out. Does he? Big Vince? No, he doesn't. Okay. All right. He's ranked number 30 in true value, which is kind of crazy. But him and Booger McFarland should be a dominant pairing in the middle for a while. Now we don't pick again until pick 6 of the second round. Chris Gamble went number 1 in the second round to the Browns. It's kind of annoying. JP Lossman, Steven Jackson. I do like Steven Jackson. Okay. So with the craziness of that first round out of the way, where do we go now? Now we kind of come back down to earth, and we kind of think with our mind instead of our heart. I do see a couple guys I'm interested in. Darnell Dockett and Carlos Dansby. We can move Dockett to end. As my camera autofocuses there. We can move Darnell Dockett to defensive end. It's possible. He's 6'3", 297. It's a big defensive end. But it's possible. But Carlos Dansby is probably the smarter move. I'm going to take Carlos Dansby. That's going to be my guy in the second round. Welcome to the team, Carlos. He's a white guy on the field, but in the player portrait, he's not a white guy. So that is my first second round pick. We'll use the other Chiefs pick. Steven Jackson goes the pick right before me. Okay, so Kellen Winslow's available. Dockett is still available, and I might just take him because he's just such a good talent. Sometimes you just take talent in drafts and then worry about where they're going to play later. I think Darnell Dockett is the guy that we take in the second round. At this point, we need to stockpile as much talent as physically possible, and so that is the move that we go with there. Third round, we're getting to the point where I'm going to start simulating because I don't know who's going to be available for us. Quarterback, Jim Sorgi. Okay. Craig Krenzel, the Cowboy. Where's he at? Where did I see him at? Oh, yeah, I passed him. There he is. Craig Krenzel. National champion. Running back, Michael Turner. Not bad. Fullback. Did I see Vontae Leach there? Yeah, Vontae Leach is available. Okay. We'll think about that. Wide receiver, John Morant. Jericho Cotchery. Reggie Williams or Sean Wood. Okay. Wes Welker down here. And Malcolm Floyd. All right, we could come away with some steals in the undrafted section. Do I want Jericho Cotchery, though? I don't know. We don't need a tight end. We still do need offensive line. But I don't think we need any of these guys. Stepanovich. Where do we go? Where do we go? It's only the third round, but there's just not... Never mind. I didn't see Jared Allen here. Okay. That pretty much answers the question, where do we go? I think we take the obvious choice with Jared Allen. One of the greatest defensive ends of the 2000s. Is there a corner that I could take? Nathan Vasher, Will Poole. Okay, we'll come back to corner. But that's pretty obvious. Jared Allen is our pick here in the third round. We'll figure out where everybody's going to play. We'll figure that is not Jared Allen. What did that say? Former high school what? Former high school power forward. Okay. We'll figure out where everybody's going to play eventually. But we just got to stockpile talent at this point. Okay, we have 2 fourth-round picks this year. Or this time around. And I might just use it on undrafted guys at this point. Although Michael Turner... I kind of want Michael Turner. 4-4 speed. Let's take him. We need a backup for Willis McGahee anyway, so we'll take Michael Turner. He ends up having hidden development, 92 speed. Pretty good, I'd say. And we go to the next pick. All right, who do we take with this? Who do we take with this? Keith Smith, straight. This could be a Will Poole type of pickup, and it might actually be. 4-5 speed. His hit power is good. His man in zone is not great, but I mean, we're in the 4th round. We need some corners. So hopefully... Oh, they're questioning if he has NFL speed or not. That's not good. I mean, 90 speed is not bad. He is 5'10". But we'll take Will Poole in the 4th round. We'll go to the 5th round. That's probably where we'll start grabbing a couple undrafted guys that we saw. And then we'll simulate out of it. So let's go through. I saw that Wes Welker was here, undrafted, so we'll probably take... I think I'll take him over 6'5", though, for Malcolm Floyd's kind of crazy. We'll take Wes Welker. Great, one of the greatest route runners in modern NFL. Do we come back and hit a double pump on wide receiver? Craig Krenzel got drafted. Good for him. Do we come back with a double pump on Malcolm Floyd, or do we go a different direction? There's Chad Lavalaeus, who is in our current All-American Dynasty on NCAA or College Football 25. It's kind of fun. Brock Lesnar. Whoa, forgot he was in this draft. I don't know why he was. I don't think he actually went to the draft. I think he just signed as an undrafted or as a free agent. But now I kind of want to take him because he's here. Let's do it. I'm taking Brock Lesnar. The Beast Incarnate. WWE Hall of Famer. Brock Lesnar. Well, he will be a WWE Hall of Famer. Brock Lesnar has been taken. And now we don't have another pick till the 7th round. I'll sim to it, and I'll take Malcolm Floyd. I doubt that he's going to be taken. If he is, I'll sim out of it, but... Wide receiver. He's still there. Okay. So Malcolm Floyd ends up being the final pick of the draft for us. Bada bing, bada boom. Another good draft. Actually, we actually have another 7th round pick, but we won't draft that person. Okay. 2 drafts down. We have really built this team. Really built this team. I really like the direction we've gone in. 73 for Sean Taylor. He might have fallen to 12. I think I drafted a little scared there. Vince Wilfork at 76. Dansby 68. Dockett's a 72. 69 for Allen. 67 for Turner. Okay. I'm fine with that. The Rockwell's is a 57. That's kind of hilarious. Best player in the class, Larry Fitzgerald. No surprise there. Vince Wilfork ends up being number 3. We knew that. Eli Manning, Big Ben, both 73s. And Phillip Rivers is... I pass him? Phillip Rivers ends up being... The heck is he? Here he is. He's a 68. Wow. I don't think he was that much of a worse player than Eli, but whatever. So 3 franchises think they have their quarterback. I guess we'll find out. I think we have our quarterback, at least for right now, with David Carr. But let's take a look at the team now. So the offensive line is improved for the moment. We have great tight ends. We have a really good wide receiver in Steve Smith. I'm actually going to move Brandon Lloyd and Wes Welker up to 3 and 4 so that they can get some play time. Actually, Welker probably needs to be 3. And on defense, this is where we need to figure out who's playing where. Okay, so Dansby needs to play to get him that play time. Jared Allen needs to play. So we'll move Jared Allen to left end. Although I don't know. We already have a guy that's like 76. I don't think he plays there right now. I think Jared Allen sits behind Mathis for right now. And then we need to make sure that Welker is the slot receiver. Rush left end is not going to be Dansby. It's going to be Mathis. And maybe that's where Jared Allen gets some play time at rush right end. I'm fine with that. Okay. That's going to be the team for season 3. The 2005 draft class is up next. I will show you that as we get to week number 1. And I will also cut those random 0 overall players so they don't mess up the team anymore. Although I can't guarantee they won't be on the team by auto signing to fill roster spots. But let's get to season number 3. Get ready, because we need the Chiefs to be bad again, because we're running out of first round picks. We have our own and we have the Chiefs, but this is the last time that we have the Chiefs picks. So we need to start stockpiling picks again. So hopefully the Chiefs are bad. But let's get to week number 1, get the draft class going, and start from there. Okay, so we have ourselves the 2005 draft class. We're here at week number 1 of the 2004-2005 season. There are a few draft classes where this Amir dude is in for some reason as a top 5 projected pick, but I changed it to him being 40 years old and a punter. So, and he's got like no stats or anything. So he won't factor in once it starts simulating. I just wanted to point that out in case you're wondering who that guy was. I don't know why he's in the draft class. Maybe it's somebody that the creator is familiar with. I have no idea. But anyway, this is the Alex Smith draft class. Also the Aaron Rodgers draft class, if you're curious. He's right here. And also the GOAT, Dan Orlovsky. So this is an interesting draft class because we're already starting to put like the pieces together. We need a few extra pieces. We need maybe a Sean Merriman type or a Derek Johnson type. Those would be very helpful. But is this the time where we start getting the offensive line figured out? Not the tackle. Could be the guard with Evan Mathis. That could be our guard of the future. Certainly not Richie Incognito, who I forgot was at one point a center, but then moved to guard. Logan Mankins at right guard. Okay, so the guard position could be figured out in this draft. And I would be very happy about that. Marcus Spears. Justin Tuck. There's some good players in this class. We can definitely put the final touches on this early roster with this class for sure. Absolutely for sure. Okay, so it's week number 1. You know what the team looks like. We have 2 first-round picks, our own and the Chiefs. We're going to simulate the season like we did last year. Hopefully, we are bad, but also improving individually. Like Derek Carr goes up, Steve Smith goes up, all of our young guys go up. I don't know. I know that our best guys like Polamalu and Steve Smith are going to develop, but I just hope that we don't win as many games, because that's going to be helpful for the long haul, and I hope the Chiefs don't win as many games. But I'm going to simulate season number 3, and we will move on, get there at the end of the season, and I'll catch you guys there. We wrapped up the season, again, 6-11, so it seems like the point that we're at right now is we've gotten out of that horrible, you're going to finish like number 1 pick type of range, and we've kind of found ourselves in this lower than mediocre tier, kind of no man's land where we're winning 6 games. That's okay. I'm fine with that right now. And it looks like the Chiefs also won 6 games. So we're going to have 2 picks pretty close together, I would think. The playoff bracket is as follows, with the Falcons and the 49ers being the 4-5. In the NFC side, take a quick peek at the stats. David Carr is getting better. He's hovering around the $39,000, $3,000, 38 to 4,000 range in terms of yards, and then 25 touchdowns, 13 picks. Once that offensive line becomes elite, he should be able to do pretty well. Same thing with Willis McGahee, or whoever our running back ends up being. But 3.5 per carry is not going to get the job done. Corey Bradford ends up leading the team in both catches and receptions, or does the same thing, catches and yards. Steve Smith close, David Boston, Jason Witten. I don't know who he is, but if he keeps playing this way, maybe we could trade him. I don't know. Defensively, Jamie Sharper again leads the team in tackles. He got 3 picks this year. 94 for Polamalu. 21 tackles for loss for Anthony McFarland. It's kind of crazy. And 6 sacks. So not as much as last year with 10.5, but he's still killing it. And Will Fork is a rookie. Got 4. Mathis had 2. Pick leader was Samuel with 4, 3 for Sharper. So we got a few interceptions this year just by 2 players. And we will see how this offseason goes. So let's get to the Super Bowl. I'm hoping for some dev trade upgrades, but I don't know if the seasons individually were good enough. Like, Steve Smith didn't even get 1,000 yards. So, I don't know. Packers, Colts in the Super Bowl. Who is going to win it? Probably, I don't know at this point. Maybe the Colts? I don't know. And it looks like it is going to be the Colts, 38-17. They killed them. Peyton Manning, Super Bowl MVP and League MVP. Terrell Owens, again, Offensive Player of the Year. Julius Peppers, Defensive Player of the Year. And Jericho Cotchery. I should have went Jericho Cotchery. I talked about it in the draft. I just didn't go with him. I should have went with him. And then Jason Babin, Offensive Defensive Rookies of the Year. I should have went with. That's my fault. I should have went with him. I had, I think, 2 different opportunities to take him. We'll update all these roster filler guys. And then we will take a look at the good old-fashioned dev trade upgrades. Anything? Show me something. Nothing. At least on offense. I think David Carr has reached his ceiling. He's an 85 overall. I don't know if he's going to get much better. So maybe in the future, we'll have to look at a quarterback. We do still have Tony Romo. So we can always fall back on that. That is an option. But the rest of the team is in a weird spot. Sharper actually goes up to superstar. Vince Wilfork has superstar. Sean Taylor has X Factor, which is a really good reason why I wanted to get both those guys. We need a couple corners. We need maybe Jared Allen and Darnell Dockett both have superstar as well. We need a defensive end for sure, an outside linebacker for sure. Okay, the team is in a weird spot. The team is definitely in a weird spot, but I don't think we're in a bad spot. I think we're in a very good spot. Negotiations, we have 194 million. David Carr's option. That's a lot of money, but we're going to pick it up. We're going to pick it up. Steve Smith wants 118 million. He's very much worth it at this point, and I think I want to lock him up for a long time. So while we have the money, we might as well spend it. Hopefully he accepts that. He does. Okay, so 6 years of Steve Smith. Roberto Garza, we knew we had to pay. And he's the only other guy that we do have to pay, so that's good. So we can pay him maybe a 3-year deal. I don't want to go too crazy because there are 2 guards in this class that I want. So Roberto Garza might just become irrelevant at that point. But at least we have him in case I screw something up and we can't get him. Marvin Harrison Sr. says he's not coming back. He wins the Super Bowl and says, I'm out. Does that mean this free agency he's going to be available? Or when his contract is up? I guess we'll find out. Let's go to free agency and see. And he is not here, I don't think. He'd be like the top guy, right? Okay, so whenever his contract is up, he's not coming back. Plax goes there. That's kind of cool. We had a chance to trade for him. Kenyatta Walker is the top free agent in the class. He's a right tackle. He really wants to be a Houston Texan. 2685 overall is not bad. And right tackle is one of the positions we certainly could use. Maybe that's the way that we go. I know we have to go against a lot of different people because he had like, what, 13 offers or something? But I don't really want anybody else in this draft, in this free agency class. So, actually 8 people. I would give him a 4-year deal worth 10 mil across the board. Where does that put us? At the top. I don't know if that's going to guarantee us him signing, but it looks pretty good. And you know what? I'll toss a little offer at Plaxico. 4 years is a little bit too rich. A 2-year deal for Plaxico, I wouldn't mind. But that is okay. Never mind. I'm going to withdraw my offer for Plaxico. I guess I didn't realize he was so coveted. We were not going to go for Plaxico anymore. I think the only guy we're going to go for is Kenyatta Walker. The Niners have jumped us. Am I willing to pay more for Kenyatta Walker? I think I'm willing to pay $1 million more. I'll go $11 million across bonus and salary. But that's as far as I'm willing to go. If we don't get him, that's okay. Oops. What's going to happen? He has signed with us. Okay. So we have a right tackle now. He is normal development, but we have a right tackle. He's a high overall player. He's going to hopefully help this offensive line run the football. We signed Roberto Garza. He can, at the end of the day, he could just be a good backup. Maybe a center. Maybe move him to center. Because I really want to draft Evan Mathis and who's the other? I forget who the other guard is, but I want to get the 2 guards in the draft. So that might be where we take our 2 picks that we have with the Texans and the Chiefs. Let's get to it, though. Let's get to the draft, figure out what the move is. Free agency recap, private workouts. Okay. I did use my Nationals focus on guards or on interior offensive line, so we don't have to worry about that at all. So Evan Mathis is a round 1. Awesome. The centers. Okay. Logan Mankins, that's who it is. He's top 5. Perfect. We can take both those guys and be good to go. I also scouted Michael Roos, but we don't need him anymore because we signed Kenyatta Walker. Let's do Erasmus James. Let's do... Let's do Sean Merriman. We could do David Pollock, I guess. And then we'll finish up with Derek Johnson. Those will be my 3 final private workouts. And we can go to the draft. First off, we got to take a peek at the mock draft to see exactly where we are picking. And for the 3rd year in a row, Steve McNair wants the Titans to draft a wide receiver. They are not listening to their quarterback. Alex Smith is projected 1. Braylon Edwards, Ronnie Brown, Mike Williams, DeMarcus Ware, Sean Merriman, Adam Jones, and Trevor Roll. So we pick at 10 and 11. They have us taking Thomas Davis Sr., which is not a bad pick, and Roddy White. Okay. There's Logan Mankins. I didn't see Evan Mathis. Is he projected 1st round? He is not. That's huge. That's huge. So, if I want one of these 2 guys, we're going to have to jump a little bit ahead. Not the end of the world. We do need another pass rusher. We have Carlos Dansby, but that's it as far as outside linebackers go. They're both power rushers. If we take number 10, although, I mean, Thomas Davis is cool too. But I think these guys would be just a little bit better. I think if we take number 10 and we trade it with the Patriots, we can really get a dominant edge rusher. So let's first finish up buying the player personnel tree because I didn't finish that. So let's buy that. Let's buy that. And then let's buy that. And then we'll finish up with a little discount thing because that always helps. Even 5% still helps a little bit. Okay, so with all that being bought, we can now do some magic here. The New England Patriots. It's only 5 spots. It's not a huge jump. And now we actually have some talent to maybe trade. So 10 to 5, I mean, that's huge. That's already almost accepted. So if we give them somebody that they want, we can maybe get this done pretty quickly. Do they want Corey Bradford? Oh, they're going to accept that right away. What else can I get? Can I get a player? Light. Damian Woody. Mike Vrabel. I don't have a ton of guys that I want. I might just go draft pick. Unless they can give me Matt Light. No, okay. Okay, I'd have to give it way too much. I was just checking. Maybe they give me a 2nd round pick. It's not really worth it. Let's just go 2nd round pick this year. 3rd round pick this year? It'd probably be a 4th round pick this year. But I'll try a 3rd round pick next year. Boom. Okay, so we jump from 10 to 5 to hopefully take DeMarcus Ware. Now I'm ready to go. And then at 11, we could probably just trade down. I don't think we're going to take Roddy White. Even though he's a great player, I don't think that's the direction we're going to go. So number 1 pick, Bengals take Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so they missed out on Carson Palmer back in 2003. Rodgers was projected like in the teens? I don't know. He goes number 1 overall. Not what I expected at all. And then Alex Smith goes number 2 to the Broncos. So the Bengals, I mean, they looked at Aaron Rodgers. They looked at Alex Smith. They said, we want Rodgers. Okay. Very interesting. Braylon Edwards goes 3. And then Mike Williams goes 4. So now we are up. And we've got the whole board available to us. We got Ronnie Brown, Cedric Benson, Adam Jones, but I think we traded up here for a reason. This is DeMarcus Ware territory. Get that dominant, elite pass rusher. He's number 2 in true value. I would assume Rodgers is probably number 1. But we get an elite pass rusher. That's going to help us out a whole lot. A whole heck of a lot. And we still have number 11. Sean Merriman goes number 6 to the Ravens. Pac-Man goes to the Jets. Lions get Antrell Roll. Steelers take Ronnie Brown. Patriots get Roddy White. Okay, so Roddy White was predicted to us. We weren't going to take him anyway, and now he goes. So you got Cedric Benson, Derek Johnson. I was thinking about just trading down, but with Roddy White gone, although it's probably still smart to trade down. I kind of want to take Derek Johnson, but it's probably smart to trade down. Just a little bit, if I can. Pick 25 is too far. Pick 20. 24. This is the problem with trading down from such an awkward spot at 11 is nobody's really willing to give up that much. For obvious reasons. Trading down from 11 to get what? I mean, if I trade down from 11 to 19, we don't really pick up anything of value. The only way we pick up something of value is if I trade to like the last picks of the first round. Then we pick up an extra first round pick, but that's not really worth it, I don't think. Maybe the Seahawks pick is where we go. We just pick up a first and a third. I'm trying to figure out. I think Logan Mankins would be there at 18. I was really hoping there would be some value, but 11 just doesn't carry that much value, I don't think. I think Logan Mankins would be there at 18. Picking up an extra third, I'm okay with doing that. I hope I didn't make just a big old mistake. I guess we'll find out as Carlos Rogers goes, Luis Castillo, Marcus Spears, Thomas Davis Sr., Fabian Washington, Troy Williamson, and Jamal Brown. So Derek Johnson actually makes it to pick 18. Not something I expected. I thought he'd be gone, but I'm not going to waste any more time. We need a guard, and Logan Mankins is a top 5 talent. So, boom. Welcome to the team, Logan. He's the number 1 player. We got number 1 and number 2. Because, what's his face? DeMarcus Ware was number 2. That's huge. I thought that it'd be Aaron Rodgers, but it's not. Okay, so we move to the second round. Pick number 11. Who's going to be available here? Jason Campbell, Barrett Rudd. What about the other guard? Evan Mathis is still available. Perfect. So, boom. Got both of the guards that I wanted. Massive pickups. He's number 10 in true value. Hidden dev. That's a good draft right there. That is a really, really good draft. I love that. Mike Nuge. Oh, Nuge. I shouldn't have signed Sebastian Janikowski to that long of a contract. Where do we go now? Now I have kind of just like it's kind of just we'd take somebody, I guess. Do we take a Darren Sproles type? Pretty fast. Only 4.5 speed, really? I feel like Darren Sproles ran faster than that. Wide receivers. Is there anybody in the undrafted? Josh Cribbs, one of the best return men of all time. I think we have passed our time of David Stewart. I think we've passed our time of knowing what we're going to do. Channing Crowder is probably not a bad pickup. If anything, he's good depth. Dominique Foxworth at corner. You've also got Stanley Wilson, Eric Green, Scott Starks. Is Dominique better than any of these other guys? Probably not. But I think we can wait on Dominique. I don't think we have to get him right now. I think I'm going to go Channing Crowder. He's a little bit good depth. He might be a better overall than... No, he's probably not. I was going to say he might be a better overall than Carlos Dansby. He's not going to be. He's good depth to have on the defensive linebacker core. We have another third round pick. This is probably where we take one of the corners. And I think it's probably... Could be Scott Starks. Is he fast? 5'8". I don't like that. But he ran 4.3 speed. Okay, Scott's 5'8", so small though. What about Dominique? 5'11". He ran full. Okay, he's faster. He doesn't have the elite acceleration like Scott Stark does, but he's faster. I'm gonna take Dominique. 4.3 speed's kind of crazy. Yeah, he's got track speed, 95 speed, 93 excel. That's a big pickup. He doesn't have a dev trait. That's a big pickup. What else we got? Dan Orlovsky got taken by the Jets. And Scott Starks is still available, probably because he's so small. Well, I mean, I wanted either one. I'll take both. He has He's faster on tape. He's got 94 speed, 96. We're just building a track squad. They might not be good at covering NFL corners, but they can run fast. And I think that might be the end of my draft. Let the CPU handle the rest. We killed it. The number 1 and number 2 players in the class are both on our team with DeMarcus Ware and Logan Mankins. Absolute killer draft. Massive, massive, massive. 79 for DeMarcus Ware, 80 for Logan Mankins, 75 for Evan Mathis, 63 for Crowder, like I said, good depth, 67 for Foxworth. Starks is a 66, and then they took a couple of jabronis. Okay, so Mankins number 1, Ware's number 2, Rogers is 3. How is Alex Smith? He is a... Where the heck is he? Oh, it's overall wise, that's why. He's a 71. So Bengals did their homework. They got the better of the 2 players. Very cool. Very, very cool. I certainly didn't see that because the mock draft had Aaron Rodgers going a little bit lower in the draft, like he did in real life. But Bengals got their guy at 1. Good for them. Good for them. But now we go into another year, and Mankins will start over Garza. Can Garza play center? We're going to change him to center and find out. Maybe Logan Mankins can play center? I don't know. How does Garza look at center? He's an 80. Perfect. That works out because now Mankins can play and Garza can play. And Welburn, we didn't sign him for that long, so it's not that big of a deal. The offense is finally starting to come together a little bit. It's about time. It is about time. Defense, DeMarcus Ware, Sharper, Dansby, Mathis, and Allen. Corner still needs a little bit of work, but we're getting there. We are certainly getting there. And I will see you guys at week number 1 when we are ready to install the 2006 NFL draft class. Okay, the 2006 draft class has been installed, and you know who it is. It's Vince Young, it's Reggie Bush, it's Mario Williams, it's the Hawk, AJ Hawk. There's some good people at the top of this class. I'm very excited about that. We're getting into the real talent here in the NFL. Wide receivers, Antonio Holmes, Greg Jennings, Brandon Marshall. We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Nick Mangold. What about defensively? You got Tamba Ali, Haloti Nada, Damata Pecco. There's some good players. Chad Greenway. You got Anthony Schlegel. Love Anthony Schlegel. And then the general, Bobby Carpenter, Stephen Tulloch, Antonio Cromartie. We definitely need to try to get some corners. We're slightly lacking at the corner position. Ashton Yabuti. How could you forget him? Good draft class. Very, very good draft class. Very excited. Very excited to have it. And I think we are finally ready to be a good team. And that makes me wonder, how many more years does Randy Moss have on his contract? Because we've simulated a few years now. How many more years? Did they re-sign him? He's got 2 years left. 2 years left on the contract. And now they actually are interested in trading him. But they want 3 first-round picks and Troy Polamalu. Or 3 firsts and 3 seconds. You're not going to get that. I'm sorry. I know Randy Moss is the greatest of all time. He's yada, 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 whatever. You're not going to get that. But you can have Jonathan Wills. And you can have Jabbar Gaffney. How's that? Okay. I was kind of wondering if they would have said that. They did. Let's see. What else can you have? You can have Chester Pitts. And you can have John Welburn. How's that? You like that? No? Okay, they don't like that. We might have to just write it out until he's 30. And maybe they don't re-sign him because I don't want to give any draft picks. So we're gonna let Randy Moss stay in Minnesota. Let's just say that. And I'm gonna simulate the season. Catch you guys at the end of the year with the stats and with the recap. And maybe we make the playoffs. Who knows? we finished up the season and we went 4-13. That's not good, but it might be a blessing in disguise because this draft class is so top heavy that maybe having a bad record and having a subsequent good pick is going to help us in the long run. I think we've come to the conclusion that David Carr is just not going to be the guy going forward. So we'll have to figure out what we want to do with him. Maybe we trade him. Maybe we just keep him and have him as a backup. I have no idea. That probably wouldn't be that good of an idea. We probably would trade him. I mean, he's not putting up bad numbers. He dropped his yardage. The offensive line is slightly better, helping Willis McGahee. Steve Smith finally leads us in yards, or with yards. Jason Witten. It looks like Garza struggled heavily at center, which is not a surprise. Jamie Sharper's been huge for us. Jeff Posey, I don't know how Jeff Posey even played. He shouldn't have with DeMarcus Ware. And DeMarcus Ware only had a half a sack, really? That's a little shocking. 9 sacks for Booger McFarland, 5.5 for Vince Wilfork, 3 for Darnell Dockett, 2.5 for Allen. Okay. And a few more picks. Very weird season. Very, very weird season. We're still in Texan playbooks, both offense and defense. But a very, very weird season. We have finished up using the Chiefs draft pick, so we only have our own now, again. Hopefully it's good enough, though. It is the Bills and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So the Bills are kind of a perennial Super Bowl player here in this rebuild. And they will, I think, lose it because usually when it does that record or that score, it means the opposite for some reason because Madden is a very well put together game. So let's see. And the Eagles, I think they went back to back, right? No, they won it a couple years ago against the Bills. So they beat the Bills again. McNabb gets another MVP of the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning, MVP of the league. Deuce McAllister, Michael Strahan, Players of the Year. Aaron Rodgers and Thomas Davis Sr. are the Rookies of the Year. So Rodgers must have had a killer season for the Bengals. How'd they do? 11-6 and went the third seed. So they obviously did have a killer season. But here we go. Let's jump to the offseason. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some decisions to make, some big decisions to make. And we have Troy Polamalu on a 5th-year option. I kind of want to decline that and just bring him back, but I've never declined a player option before. Does it let you re-sign them anyway? I don't know. I think I want to trade Chester Pitts. We'll bring back Jamie Sharper because he's been pretty big for us. But everybody else, I don't think we need. I've never rejected a 5th-year option before. Rejecting the 5th-year option was on the player having one more season remaining on the contract that can be re-signed as normal next season. I think I'm going to decline. He's just going to keep getting more expensive. So I think getting him... Yeah, I think I'm going to reject it. I'm going to reject the 5th-year option for Troy Polamalu. Wow. Okay, there's his total salary. He's going to be massively expensive. Maybe I should have accepted it. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay. I think I'm going to trade Chester Pitts, though. Because I think we might be able to get something for him. Derek Brooks is too old. Rasheem Mathis. Bob Sanders. We don't need safety. Robert Gallery. Chris Chambers. Chris Snee. Don't need a guard, though. Vincent Jackson. Ooh, interesting. Let me just... Unless... Can I trade him for Randy Moss? I'm gonna keep this Randy Moss thing going until I get him. Okay, no. Okay. Just wanted to check. But let me... Can I just swap left tackle for left tackle with somebody? Who's got a decent left tackle that's not, like, super good, but I can still acquire? Like a Jason Peters, that would be huge. I know he's got 1 year left on his deal. This would be massive. They probably accept this, though, is the problem. So maybe I can get more? What else can I get? I don't want to be too greedy, but I gotta try it. Cowboys, oh, no wonder I was gonna say they have nobody because the number one pick. That's why they've got this is a god awful roster they have here. There's nobody else that I want. Okay, I gotta try like a draft pick or something. This is a horrible roster. Maybe the first pick of the second round. Ooh, I might have been able to get more. Maybe I would have been able to get the first over. Then probably not. But okay, so we get Peters. We can franchise tag Troy Polamalu for how much? For $16.8 million. I really screwed up this contract. I should have just accepted it. It was only like $10 million. I should have just accepted it. Let's pay Jamie Sharper for only 2 more seasons. I don't want to go too crazy. He's going to come back. $67 million. Everybody else is going to go. We'll sign Jason Peters next year. I screwed up the Troy Polamalu contract. I don't have to franchise tag him, right? Because it said he can play 1 more year on his current deal. I'm pretty sure. Why did I have to screw it up? I should have just accepted it. I should have just accepted it. Franchise tag him for 16 point. Let's just do that. Let's see what happens. I'm experiencing different things. I'm experiencing things I haven't done yet. So let's see what happens with that. We'll franchise tag him and see what happens next year with that whole deal. We get to free agency with $67 million. Mike Allstott's back. Brett Favre is here. Too bad the Packers don't have Rodgers. There's actually nobody here that I really want. And maybe James Harrison. A young Dustin Colquitt? That might not be bad. I don't know who our punter even is. There is nobody here that I want. I don't want Brett Favre. I might go James Harrison. Might not be too bad. 4-year deal's a little bit much. Maybe a 3-year deal. Give him a little bit more on the bonus side of things. I know he's got some people going after him. Okay, but they're kind of lowballing him. Who even is our punter? I don't even know who a punter is. Dustin Colquitt at 24 years old. I could just get him and lock that up. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Are we going to get... Okay, so we got Colquitt. James Harrison. The Falcons have come in. If the L3 button would work. There we go. And we get James Harrison. Okay. So 2 big signings. Well, 1 big signing and then a punter. I mean, we might not even have needed a punter, but Dustin Colquitt has superstar development. Logan Mankins has X Factor, and Mathis has superstar. And Peters obviously has X Factor. We knew that when we traded for him. The offensive line's quickly becoming really, really good. Defensively, James Harrison now starts over here. DeMarcus Ware moves over to swap for Dansby. We need some corners. That's what we really need to focus on. And then special teams, we had no punter. Okay, perfect. So I actually did a good thing there. And then Seabass is our kicker. I can't believe I actually did a good thing. All right, let's get to the draft. The draft is going to be massive. Do we trade David Carr now? Because there is a man by the name of Vincent Young who I might want. We have the number 2 pick. So Mario Williams is going to go number 1. That's not that bad. I don't mind that. Reggie Bush. Or Reggie Bush. That could be pretty cool. AJ Hawk at 6. There's Vince Young at number 9. Vincent Young. my God, he looks amazing. Elite throw power, elite strength, elite speed, elite jumping. I mean, this man, he's the real deal. He's a national champion. Do I trade from 2? Do I risk losing out on Reggae Bush to get our quarterback of the future? And if I trade David Carr, maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can trade David Carr for something. Although it's pretty risky trading David Carr before the season or before the draft. We can get Tim Couch. David Carr can get me a first-round pick. That's what I was wondering. Rondé Barber. Ooh. A pick next year. We can get Jericho Cotchery and a pick next year. David Carr can get me some good stuff. We can get Michael Strahan, but he's 34. Santana Moss intro roll. Okay. I think I'm going to trade David Carr. This is risky because we'd have to rely on Tony Romo, which isn't bad. He's got X Factor. But I think I'm going to trade. I don't want to trade with the Chiefs again, but they're giving me a wide receiver and a first-round pick in next year, 2007. I think I'm going to trade with the Chiefs again, funny enough. I don't know who the Chiefs quarterback is, but I'm going to trade with the Chiefs. We get Jericho Cotchery and a first-round pick next year. So now we have Tony Romo at the moment as our starting quarterback. But it's going to be Vince Young. Jericho Cotchery moves in. We could have had him all along, but we have him now. So, okay. I'm excited now. I'm excited. We have the number 2 pick in the draft. We're probably going to trade down to around where the Jaguars are because they were the ones projected to take Vince Young. It's a risky game that I just played there. I am going to use one on Reggie Bush just to find out. Just to find out. And we need corner. This might not be the best draft for corner. There are some names, including Devin Hester. What do they got his speed at? They got it at only great speed? A little disrespectful. Little disrespectful, but whatever. Okay. I think the last missing piece is corner. Oh, look. Now Steve McNair and the Titans, he's asking them for a tackle or an offensive line upgrade. Instead of a wide receiver for the past 3 years. They must have answered his prayers. All right, number 2 pick in the draft. We're probably trading it. But number 1 pick is Mario Williams. Just like in real life, he goes number 1. What did Reggie Bush end up grading out to be? He's a round 1 talent. Okay. So Vince Young was mocked number 9 to the Jaguars. I'm not going to take him at 2. I could trade down to 3. I could trade down to 6. That's not too bad. I like that. That's not super far. I'm probably not trading down any further than 7. I could trade down to number 9, and I'd also pick up a first-round pick a couple years from now from the Jaguars, which might not be the bad idea. All the other ones ahead aren't giving me what I want, which is another first-round pick. But the Jaguars being the team that was mocked to take, but if I trade with the Jaguars, that means they might take him at 2. Because they might need a quarterback, so I can't really do that. Even though it is a first round pick, I might do number 7 with the Seahawks. That also gets me a second round pick this year and a 4th round pick this year. What was number 6? That's a lot of stuff this year. Okay, 11 I think is just too far. Even though it is a first round pick next year or 2 years from now. I think I might do 7. 7 feels like a good range. So we trade down from 7 to the Seahawks. You pick up a couple extra things this year. They take Reggie Bush at number 2. The Bears at 3 take Tamba Ali. The Jets at 4 take Santonio Holmes. The Packers take Chad Greenway. And the Bucks, don't you dare do it, they take AJ Hawk. Okay. I thought for a second they might. I don't know who their quarterback is. But we are going to take Vince Young at number 7. Couldn't be happier. He's a freak. And we're going to grab him. Vince Young. He's number 19 true value. Not worried about that, really. 90 speed, 94 throw power. Our quarterback of the future, hopefully. Quarterback of the future. Next user pick is the first pick of the second round. We have back-to-back picks, actually. Huge. Oh, we have 3 second-round picks. Huge. Absolutely huge. Matt Leinart. All right, how's the cornerback looking? Because that's really the biggest position of need. So we have Ty Hill, Jimmy Williams, Cedric Griffin, Tim Jennings. Okay, so I think we can wait on a couple of those guys until a little bit later in the second round. What else are we looking at here? Elvis Dumerville, I see him. He was 3rd round. Brandon Marshall. We're kind of looking pretty good at wide receiver right now, especially with the Jericho Cotchery addition. It might have to be corner here. Dusty Dvorak. I think he does analysis with Scott Van Pelt. I see Elvis Dumerville. I don't know if that's the pick at the first pick of the second round, but I don't know what is maybe this is a trade out pick. I do see Jahari Evans as well. Oof. There's some talent. There is some talent. We have back-to-back picks. Maybe what can I get for this? I don't think I've ever traded a second round pick away. Or at least not tried to get anything of value for it. We can get first round picks for it. Thank you very much. Well, I'm definitely trading with somebody for a first round pick. That's pretty obvious. It's just a matter of who I think is going to be bad. Who's going to be bad? I'm not sure what any of these teams look like. I know the Eagles are always in the Super Bowl, so that's an obvious choice out. Not with the Bills either. I haven't heard anything. I mean, the Browns have been bad. Haven't heard anything about the Vikings. Steelers have been perennially bad. Seahawks, Saints. I haven't heard anything about the Saints. Or the Rams. I kind of want to pick, like the Packers. I kind of want to pick in 2029, which would be 2007. And the Seahawks, I don't know how good the Seahawks are. I don't think they're that good. I don't think the Saints are that good either. I don't remember. I'll trade with the Saints. Give me a first round pick. A first round pick is a first round pick, no matter what it is. So they take D'Angelo Williams with it. And now we have another pick here. I could trade this pick too, actually. And I'd probably still get first round picks. Yeah, I'm still getting first round pick offers. We could do the Titans, Steelers, Seahawks. What do I want to do? Panthers, Packers, Giants, 49ers. The 49ers are offering me a third, which means they're probably pretty good. But a third round pick's a third round pick. I'm going to trade this with the Niners too. We get a first round pick and a third round pick. We're starting to accumulate a lot of good stuff here. They take Matt Leinart, Cedric Griffin, Howard. All right, and now I might actually take somebody with this pick. I feel like we've acquired enough trading. Go to the cornerback spot. This is probably where we take Tim Jennings. Let's take Tim Jennings. He's number 15 in true value. Okay, 96 speed. He's 5'8", so we're getting a lot of short corners in this rebuild, but not too bad. Next pick is pick 2 of the third round. I wonder if Jahari Evans is still here. He is. That's huge. That's a huge pickup. Huge pickup in the third round. He's number 2 in true value. Massive pickup. We got a lot of guards, but we can move one to center if we need to. We go to our next third round pick. This could be another corner. Ashton Booty. I should have scouted him. Looks like what's his face is gone. Devin Hester. We got Brent Grimes and we got Cortland Finnegan and we've got Will Blackman and Ashton Booty. There's some options. Stephen Tulloch is still available. That might be my go-to right there. Damatar Pecco's available. Elvis Dumerville's still available. I gotta go Elvis Dumerville. Gotta grab Elvis. Number 24 in True Value, rocking the powder blue suit. Okay, I respect it. Devin Hester went a couple picks ahead of us at number 77. Into the 4th round. I might not even, this might be my final pick. I might not even need any more after this. Stephen Tulloch is still available. I see him down there. Let's grab him. Let's grab him. And then we'll go to our next 4th round pick. I might use this one to get another corner, whether it's Cortland Finnegan or Brent Grimes or whoever. Booty's still available. David Pittman, Gostowski. Let's just go to the cornerback room. Mario Minter, Cortland Finnegan. Do I want Cortland Finnegan or do I want Brent Grimes? Who do I think is going to end up being better? 5'10", marginal speed. Finnegan looks pretty good, or Grimes looks pretty good. What about Finnegan? Elite speed and acceleration, but his coverages are not as good. But I can get both of them, so I don't know why I'm questioning who to get. Finnegan ends up being number 29 True Value, 95 speed, 96 excel is absolute insanity. We have so many fast corners, it's crazy. If this was College Bowl 25, I'd be over the moon. All right, and then I can just take Brent Grimes and we can be done. I don't know why I was... it wasn't like it was my last pick. I don't know why I was trying to debate who do I want. Let's just take both of them. Brent Grimes, another pickup. He's number 30 in True Value. Boom. Cornerback room might be done. The team might be done in general. Let's end the draft. I think we might be on our way to our first playoff appearance, as long as Vince Young develops. That's a big if. All right, so Vince Young's a 73. Tim Jennings is 74. Jabri Evans is 78. Huge steal in the 3rd round. Dumerville's a 72. Tulloch's a 65. 71 for both Finnegan and Grimes, and they took a bunch of jabronis. So let's see who the best player in the class was. It was Haloti Ngata, 81 overall. Then Jabri Evans. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good draft class, I'd say. Pretty good draft class for us. I would assume we'd be better than 4 wins. At least I hope. And I guess it all depends on Vince Young. That was one of the reasons why we moved on from David Carr. He just wasn't getting the job done. But here we go. And it looks like it's going to be Tony Romo at first. I don't know if I hate that or not. I kind of want to move. I think Logan Mankins would make the best center. So let's just move Logan Mankins to center. Then we can have a pretty good offensive line here. So, boom. Logan Mankins moves to center. We will go generate best lineup. Okay. Offensive line looks fantastic right now. Absolutely fantastic. We got to re-sign Jason Peters this season. We've got 2 amazing wide receivers for him. I guess Tony Romo to throw to. Do I want Vince to start over Tony Romo? I think I might. I might want him to start just because he's younger and he's got better chance of developing. And then the defense. I mean, we really helped the cornerback room with 3 depth trait players in the draft. We have a chance to be really good this year. We could still be bad because Vince Young might not play very well, but there's a chance we could be really, really good. I'm going to simulate to week 1 like I normally do, get the draft class loaded in, catch you guys there. Okay, we have the 2007 draft class loaded in, and yeah, this draft class is kind of goated in terms of Calvin Johnson, obviously Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer there. You've got Adrian Peterson. You've got Patrick Willis. You've got Darrelle Revis. There are Hall of Famers laid without throughout this entire draft class, and that's not even that's just the top of the. You go deeper, you find even more gems. So I think trading around in the 2nd round is going to end up huge for us, absolutely huge. And I'm going to fire Cindy because our interior offensive line is actually pretty good. So let's go find Let's find offensive tackle, outside linebacker. I don't hate. I want something with offensive tackle, I think. It could be running back offensive tackle. Because Willis McGahee, he's not guaranteed. But I think I'm going to go offensive tackle, outside linebacker. That'll be our new national scout. I know I have offensive tackle as well on the second star, but who cares about that? Okay, so we're going to simulate this season, and I think we could be pretty good. And I've decided, since this is just first video back and everything, I'm actually only going to go until we win a Super Bowl. And then maybe in the future, we can go from 2002 all the way to modern day. But I'm starting to get a little tired and out of energy. So I think we're only going to go until we win a Super Bowl. So that's kind of the pivot we're going to make. But we're going to simulate this season. I think we're going to be really good. It all rides on the play of Vince Young and how good he's going to do. So let's find out. We have finally done it. We have finally broken through the glass ceiling and made the postseason. 12-5 is huge. It's not obviously a number 1 seed. It is a 5 seed, but still, playoffs for the first time in the rebuild is huge. And I think it's going to have a lot to do with Vince Young. Or no, actually, no, it's Tony Romo. Never mind. The auto-generated, or the auto on the lineups must have switched it, and Tony Romo got us here. 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns, 50 picks. I mean, it's not a bad season from Tony. I was just hoping it'd come from Vince Young. Willis McGahee, 1,000 yards. See what happens when you get him a running back? He does finally get to 4 yards carry, which isn't still amazing, but better than sub 3 like he was getting. 12 touchdowns. 2 1,000-yard receivers in Jericho Cotchery and Steve Smith. 16 touchdowns for Cotchery. We should have just drafted him. Witten did good. Defensively, 105 tackles from DeMarcus Ware. 104 from Jamie Sharper. We were getting a lot of pressure in the backfield. Booger McFarland's been huge for us this entire series, or this entire rebuild, including continually leading us in sacks with 13. Vince Wilfork had 10.5. Mathis only 3. DeMarcus Ware 2. Interceptions, DeMarcus Ware had 3, so he must have been dropping back in coverage more than rushing the passer, which I don't really like. Samuel had 3. Brian Grimes, the rookie, had 3. Okay, pretty cool. And we make the postseason with Tony Romo as our quarterback. How far will we go? We beat the Dolphins 34-21. It's a good start. Now we take on Aaron Rodgers and the Bengals. How good are they going to be? They beat us. Okay. So, first time in the playoffs, we get to the divisional round. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. We could even be better with the 2007 draft class coming in. Who knows what's going to happen? We have, I think, 5 first-round picks this year, including our own. It's going to be Eagles and the Bengals. Man, the Bengals went from number 1 pick, taking Aaron Rodgers, to the Super Bowl. And they might win it. And I think they did. Season recap. Did Rodgers get it done? Rodgers has gotten it done. He brings the first Super Bowl to Cincinnati. Man, he's goated. Aaron Rodgers does it. McNabb wins another MVP. Brian Finneran and Julius Peppers are the players of the year. Jason Avant and Antonio Cromartie are the rookies of the year. So Aaron Rodgers gets it done. He's only been in the league for a couple of years, but the former number 1 overall pick has taken the Bengals and got a Super Bowl. Maybe we should have taken Rodgers. Who knows? As far as our team goes, oh my God. I mean, look at this. Vince Young 77. I think we're going to be forced to start Tony Romo at this point. But look at this offensive line now. Fantastic. Tight ends, fantastic. Receivers, we could be adding Calvin Johnson. You never know. Defensively, I think we need to upgrade the middle linebacker spot, which could be Patrick Willis. Could be. We'll see. We got to see where these draft picks are at. This draft class is going to be huge. There's Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis, and Patrick Willis. 4 guys that I want on this team. It's going to be tricky to get all of them. We have $104 million. McGahee needs a new contract. Samuel needs a new contract. I'm willing to give all of them their contracts. 5 years for Samuel. Pretty decent money. He's coming back. McGahee needs a new contract. 4 years for him just to keep him off of the same timeline as Samuel. He's going to come back. Jason Witten needs a new contract. I wish he didn't. But we'll pay him, and he wants to be back. $58 million. Sean Taylor, accept his option. I'm not going to screw it up like I did Polamalu. We'll accept all those options. Romo needs a new contract. God. Why does Romo need a new contract? Stupid Romo. He just had to play really well. What's the franchise tag for you? What's the franchise tag for Mr. Romo? It is $66 million. I mean, we have Vince Young already. So I guess we trade Tony Romo. I didn't want to. I was hoping we could just go into the season with Tony, but he needed that new contract. We can get AJ Hawk. There's some players. Certainly some players. What is the Randy Moss situation? He re-signed. God, why'd you re-sign Randy? Okay. Randy's going to be on our team. But we're going to need to free up some space if we're going to do this. So David Boston's got to show up in Minnesota. And we got to send some draft picks. We have the number 4 overall pick. Absolutely massive. Randy Moss will be a Houston Texan. He should have been a Houston Texan already, but he's going to be one now. Where I'm giving up all of the future because hopefully we win a Super Bowl by then. But Tony Romo heads to Minnesota. We get freaking the big dog Randy Moss finally. And I'm still on the prowl for Calvin Johnson. Don't forget about that. Jason Peters comes back. $30 million. I want Robert Mathis back. Man, I shouldn't have got this many good players. Because now we have to pay them all. Good thing is we probably don't have to pay Brandon Lloyd because, well, if we can bring in what's his face, Calvin Johnson, we won't matter about Brandon Lloyd. We had like what, $90 million, or maybe not that much, but we had a lot of millions, and we now have no millions. $4 million to bring back that entire team. I'm really going all in on this draft class. Let's just take a peek at the free agency. Brett Favre again. He must have signed a 1-year deal somewhere. But there's nobody here. Doesn't matter. We wouldn't have had the money to pay anybody anyway. So, okay. Now it's go time. Now it is we trade around, find a way to get Patrick Willis, Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Calvin Johnson. We have 4 first-round picks. All 4 of those first-round picks need to be used on those 4 players. If we can get those 4 players, this team's a Super Bowl team. It's just a matter of how do we get them. I'd love to get into Adrian Peterson, but we don't have the assets. The assets are not there. But I do need to get some backups ready, just in case. Okay, so I think I'm going to use my final one on either Ted Ginn or Lawrence Timmons. Probably, I love Ted Ginn. I'm going to use on Ted Ginn. I don't know why it says he went to Maryland. He obviously didn't. But those are going to be the three guys: Patrick Willis, Paul Postlesny, and Ted Ginn Jr. Just a couple of backup plans in case the draft doesn't go the way that I want it to, but I think it will. I hope it will. It needs to. It needs to. So let's go to that mock draft. This is going to determine where we need to go move around to. So Joe Thomas is number 1. Calvin Johnson is number 2. Somehow we need to get the first and second pick. We have 4, so that's already pretty simple. But the rest is going to be tricky because Darrelle Revis is 6. There's 14. Patrick Willis is 19. That's better. And where is... Wait. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I was forgetting my counting for a second. Okay. So we have the 18th pick. Patrick Willis is at 19. That's already taken care of. We have the 14th pick and the rest, except for 18. The rest of the picks, 26 and 14 or whatever it is, those need to get moved to 1 and 2. So that's going to take me some doing. It's going to be tricky to do, but it's going to work. Trust me. It's going to work. I'm going to work my devil magic and we're going to be able to get this done. The team now has Randy Moss at number 1 receiver, Jericho Cotchery. Imagine Calvin Johnson's there as well. Then we go to the defensive side of things. Imagine Patrick Willis is here. And then we could even move... no, I think we're good there. Then we have Darrelle Revis at corner. It's gonna work. This plan is going to work. Trust me. Now let me go do my devil magic, trade up and trade around until I have the number 1, the number 2, and then we'll go from there. I have managed to do the devil's dirty work, and I have acquired some draft picks. We now sit with the number 1 and number 2 overall picks, along with pick 18 and pick 20. It's a lot. It's a lot. I have now a second round pick and a third round pick, but I have nothing for the next 2 years. I had to give away everything to get these number 1 and number 2 picks. So we can now take Joe Thomas, who will move to left tackle, and we'll have what's-his-face move, Jason Peters move to right tackle. Then we'll trade Kenyatta Walker. We will take, at some point, we will take Darrelle Revis. We'll take Calvin Johnson. We have these 2 picks. So Joe Thomas and Calvin Johnson already locked up. Then we have pick 18, which is going to be for it's going to be for Patrick Willis, hopefully. I need to get Darrelle Revis. I forgot about that. So we need to trade up a little bit further. It shouldn't be too difficult, but it's going to take me a little bit longer. I'm going to go right and do that right now. Okay, after even more devil magic, I was able to get more trades done for more draft picks, or higher draft picks, I should say. And we now have 1, 2, 6, and 10, which should be good enough to get Joe Thomas, Calvin Johnson, Darrelle Revis, and Patrick Willis. Now, we can't trust the mock draft at this point because I've done so much trading that nobody has their original draft pick anymore, and we can't. It's the mock draft's not trustworthy anymore. So we just kind of have to go in here and hope that everything falls the way that it should fall. So we will make our selection. We have 1, 2, 6, and 10. Joe Thomas, number 1 overall pick. Welcome to Houston. We will move Jason Peters to right tackle, trade Kenyatta Walker, and be totally good to go. So Joe Thomas is our first pick. Calvin Johnson is our second pick. And hopefully everything else goes our way. So Calvin Johnson. I would love to get Adrian Peterson. It just wasn't in the cards. There he is. Megatron has arrived. We now have Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson on the same team. Okay, Levi Brown headed to Dallas. That's perfect. That falls right into plan. Next up is the Packers. They take Gaines Adams. Beautiful. Happy for you. The Jets take Jamarcus Russell. Good luck with that. Adrian Peterson makes it to number 6. And unfortunately, man, do I really want Adrian Peterson. Wow, I really want Adrian Peterson for another rebuild. Another rebuild, we'll go for Adrian Peterson. Darrelle Revis, we're sticking to the plan. Darrelle Revis is our guy. Corner, Revis Island, GOAT. Next pick is, say, Leon Hall, who was that? Yeah, Leon Hall. To the Steelers, Jamal Anderson. Lions have Dwayne Bowe. Oh my God, Adrian Peterson has fallen this far. I got to stick to the plan. Patrick Willis is next. But the fact that Adrian Peterson is still here is kind of insane. If he falls a few more picks, I might have to do it. Oh my God. Okay. You know what? I was talking about trading Kenyatta Walker. I might trade Kenyatta Walker for Adrian Peterson because we don't need him anymore. We don't need Kenyatta. We have Jason Peters and Joe Thomas now. So we trade him to the Patriots for pick 12, although Patriots can't take it, but they don't need a running back. Who's their running back right now? Their running back, okay, they don't need Adrian Peterson. So who has pick 13? Pick 13, did I pass it? Yeah, pick 13 is the Browns. They can take it on and they need a running back. Okay. So this is where we get, hopefully, can I trade? I can also trade Willis McGahee, I guess. Because we won't need Willis if we get Adrian Peterson. Okay, perfect. So that's risk. I just risked a lot there. If the Patriots take him, I'm going to be furious. Okay, they take Paul Postlesny. We can take Adrian Peterson here. I just did some crazy voodoo magic, and somehow I get Adrian Peterson as well. I don't know how I was able to get Adrian Peterson. I just did. Okay. I'm kind of out of energy with this draft now, and just in my own body. We move to the second round. What's available? Not a lot. I shouldn't say that. There's some names. Marshall Yanda is probably my pick. We can keep him at tackle or move him to guard. Doesn't matter. He's probably the best option available. Number 34 in true value, Hall of Famer. Well, at least Ravens Hall of Fame. We've also got a third round pick, which is probably going to be the final pick that I use. This draft has gone absolutely amazing. The fact that Peterson fell that far and I wasn't even planning on taking him is hilarious. Who else is available? Nobody that I really want at the top. We probably need to get a backup quarterback. And I'll take, you know what? I was going to say I'll take Troy Smith. That's a little bit high for Troy Smith. No disrespect. Here is the other Steve Smith that I was talking about. I was referring to back in the very beginning of this rebuild. Who is this third round pick? Maybe it is just Troy Smith and we simulate out. Unless there's somebody that catches the old eye. I don't think there's going to be. You know what? Let's just take Troy Smith with the third round pick and then we can get out of this this draft. So boom, Heisman winner, Troy Smith, headed to the team. They don't even give me a rating because it's so bad. They give me like a Greek symbol. I don't even know what that was. All right, so we sim out of that. I'd say we absolutely beyond crushed that draft. We're not going to have any money forever, but we get Joe Thomas, Calvin Johnson, Darrelle Revis, Patrick Willis, and Adrian Peterson, and Marshall Yanda in the first round. Or not Marshall Yanda in the first round, but I mean, talk about a killer draft. boom, 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 boom. The top 4 players in the entire class are all Houston Texan players. If we don't win a Super Bowl now, I'm going to be fuming. We should be ready to win a Super Bowl. I wish that Tony Romo was still on the team. I just could not pay him the franchise tag of $66 million. Think about if I did. We wouldn't have had enough money to be able to do all that stuff. So, generate the best lineup. I mean, they want Joe Thomas to play right tackle. I guess it doesn't really matter at that point. But we will have Adrian Peterson start there. Steve Smith. I mean, our wide receiver room is unbelievable now. We've got great tight ends. Offensive line's fantastic. Defense, Patrick Willis goes there. Defensive line's great. Corners are great. Boom, bada bing, bada bang. We should be winning a Super Bowl. I will see you guys at week number 1 just to load the draft class in and talk about that. But other than that, we should be able to go and win a Super Bowl. I have loaded in the 2008 draft class, the Matt Ryan draft class, the Long brothers, Chris Long, Jake Long, former head coach of the New England Patriots, Rod Mayo, all that stuff, Joe Flacco, everybody. You guys know the drill. Hopefully we won't have to even worry about this draft class because, 1, we don't have any draft picks, and 2, we've won the Super Bowl. The problem with this division is, in this era, we have to get through Peyton Manning. He was the reason why we didn't win the Super Bowl, or we didn't win the division last year. It's because he won the division. So it's going to be a big struggle, but we are super, super good. It's on Vince Young now. I thought it was going to be on Vince Young last year. It was Tony Romo. It's Vince Young's team now. Let's see if he can get the job done. We finished what could be the final season of this rebuild. We went 13-4, and we were the number 1 seed. So I guess the addition of all of those amazing Hall of Fame draft picks that we took in the 2007 draft, along with Vince Young finally stepping into his own as the quarterback, and all of obviously the other pieces we've built throughout the years, has finally come together, and we have put together a phenomenal 13-win football team. I'm so happy about that. Let's take a look at these stats. And I see Vince Young, number 2 in passing yards this year. I mean, oh my God. 4,600. And remember, I'm still in the Texans playbook, both offense and defense. So Vince Young, 4,600 yards, 37 touchdowns, 4 picks. I mean, those are just unbelievable numbers. Defensively, Michael Turner ended up being the number 1 running back because he's a higher overall, so the auto-generated lineup put him in higher at the starter, but 13 touchdowns, 800 yards is not horrible. Not very good yards per carry, but whatever. It is what it is. Jericho Cotchery, 1,300 yards on the dot with 13 touchdowns. 1,100 yards for the veteran Randy Moss with 11 touchdowns. Steve Smith did very well. Calvin Johnson did not get a single catch this year. That's fine. Totally fine. I just wanted him on the team. Patrick Willis leads the team in tackles. No surprise there. Dansby, Darrelle Revis. Decent tackles for loss for everybody. Decent pressure in the backfield. Will Fork finally takes over as the sack leader with 14.5. DeMarcus Ware 7.5. Okay. Interceptions. Tim Jennings 3. Sean Taylor 3. Samuel 3. Okay, so we're actually getting a lot of interceptions this time around. I didn't think the Texans playbook gave us that many interceptions. But maybe we didn't have the talent like we do now. We take on the Super Bowl champions and Aaron Rodgers in the Bengals in the divisional round. Can we get through them? Yes, we can. 35-21. We play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC Championship. We are going to jump in to both this game and hopefully, if we win, obviously the Super Bowl, to win a championship for the Texans. So I'll see you guys in the AFC Championship. Okay, so here we are in the AFC Championship, and I guess one of the good things about being the Houston Texans in the playoffs is, and being home field advantage, is you don't get any snow because we're in a dome, obviously. So 7-7 against the Steelers. Got to get the job done here. It's 10-7. Come on, Houston. We can do it. Put the ball in the end zone. There it is, 14-10, late fourth quarter action. Steelers trying to get some points. And they did. They got the job done. And apparently I can't save any more data for some reason. I don't know, I must have too many rosters or something. That's okay. Hopefully it doesn't matter too much because we've got 3 minutes to win this game. I'm going to go underneath to Jason Witten. And it's going to keep popping up. I'll fix that for the Super Bowl, hopefully. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just let it go until the video's over. Hopefully the video's over pretty soon. But I take a nasty sack right there. 3rd and 12. That was not my plan. Obviously, that was not my plan. We have some amazing players on this roster. We need to use them. Although I am going to check down here to Michael Turner just to kind of get the first down, maybe. It's 4th and inches. That's kind of insane. 4th and inches. They obviously want me to go for it. I was going to go for it anyway, and it's the 2-minute warning. That's kind of insane that that was 4th and inches. I can't believe it. We're going to run mesh spot. Mesh spot is a goated play in both College Football 25 and in Madden 25. It's going to work. There it is. It's Randy Moss, who I wouldn't trust anybody else. I would not trust a single other person with that football in that situation. Huge play. And I'm going to go Randy Moss down the field. Oh, he almost had it. He really almost had it. He really, really almost had it. Steve Smith is going to run the fade. He might just win over the top. I think he did. Can Vince Young get it there? Yes, he can. Steve Smith, he's been here since the very beginning. It's poetic. Steve Smith Sr. has been here since the very beginning of the rebuild. They're going to go for it on 4th down. 4th and 6, under a minute. Who's that quarterback? I can't tell. This is what we built for. DeMarcus, we're trying. Intercept it. It's Darrelle Revis, the rookie. Revis Island has just won us the AFC Championship. What was that throw? Darrelle Revis has just won us the AFC Championship. Interception of the Steeler quarterback. It is Carson Palmer. Oh, I forgot about that. They drafted him, and then he ended up being a black player as the model for some reason. But whatever, it doesn't matter. He choked in the AFC Championship. He threw a pick right to Darrelle Revis. We get the job done, and we move on to the Super Bowl. First Super Bowl appearance ever for the Houston Texans. Not only just the first possible actual championship trophy. What the heck? Oh, okay. I thought that it didn't simulate. But here we go. It is Super Bowl time, and it looks like we're taking on the Commanders, who have had some success in this rebuild, I think. And obviously they've gotten here. They're 11-6, but this is our year. This is our moment. We built a God squad, and let's go and win a championship for Houston. It is Super Bowl time here in this Texans rebuild. We have such a high-powered squad. I would think the Commanders wouldn't be that much of a threat, but I mean, you never know. One game to decide the champion, anything can happen. It is 7-3. Our offense has been kind of stagnant here. Maybe we can put it in the end zone. Yes, we can. 10-7. Late third quarter into the fourth quarter. Back and forth action. And now it's time to end the game. 3 minutes to go. Get that shoe clock turned on. Give me Michael Turner / Adrian Peterson. I don't care who it is. But give me a championship trophy and a Texans successful rebuild from 2002. Michael Turner, great run. He also had the 4th and inches run, or the 3rd down screen. It wasn't a screen, was it? No, it wasn't a screen. It was a check down. The 3rd down check down that got to 4th and inches against the Steelers in the AFC Championship. He gets the first down here. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Now they'll use their timeouts. 2-minute warning. They've got 3 timeouts in the Super Bowl in the 4th quarter, and we are in the red zone. We might even be in the low red zone, actually. No, we're in the 18. Okay. Let's do this. Let's use their timeouts. Michael Turner, handoff number 1, goes for 4. Read option's risky. I kind of want to do it because we got Vince Young, but read option's very risky. Let's just keep handing off to Michael Turner. There's timeout number 2. They want us to throw it, so we'll go with the classic mesh spot. Jericho Cotchery, maybe even Randy Moss. No, it's going to be Jericho Cotchery, wide open. Don't go in. Don't stay in bounds. Oh, it's Antonio Gates, actually. At the 2. That's perfect. I kind of wanted to stay in bounds. Whatever. We'll make them use their final timeout right here. I don't want to go in. I don't want to lose a lot of yards, but I guess I did. That's the final timeout from the Commanders. And now, as long as we don't fumble, we can win this football game and win a Super Bowl for Houston. Michael Turner bouncing around. It's 3rd and goal. We can even Now we can run another play. Another handoff. Because all we got to do is line this up for a field goal with barely any time left, and we're golden. Turner at the 5. 4th and goal. Kick our field goal. We are going to take this down as far as possible. And then hopefully this doesn't backfire on me, because they would need a touchdown to win. It would be 14-13. That would be depressing. That one goes through. There's 23 seconds, and we lead by a score of 13-7. Darrelle Revis picked off Carson Palmer in the AFC Championship to seal the game. What's going to happen here with 20 seconds remaining? No timeouts for the Commanders. It's going to be not intercepted by Troy Polamalu. I thought for sure I had that. I was too low, I think, or too underneath it. Come on, boys. 15 seconds, no timeouts. They're obviously going to play the sidelines. They need a touchdown. It's not like they need a field goal, so. And it's going to be thrown away. 9 seconds left. I'd say maybe 2 plays, depending on how fast they go. As Matt Hasselbeck is the quarterback for the Commanders here. Possible 2 plays if they go fast. But knowing the AI, it's going to be 1 play. He's going to roll. He's got nothing. He throws it away. 1 more play. Final play of the Super Bowl between us and our first championship in team history and a successful Texans rebuild from their conception. That's an interception. It's got to be. Jennings, knock it down. Thank God. And that is it. The Houston Texans have won the Super Bowl. We have taken them from their very beginning from 2002, and we have rebuilt them into a Super Bowl champion. It took us, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Technically, we're in 2008. So about 6 or 7 years it took us to get to the Super Bowl. Not too bad. We really skyrocketed once we got rid of David Carr, which is kind of funny. Maybe we would have been here last year if we would have went Vince Young instead of Tony Romo. Who knows? But we drafted Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. That 2007 draft is going to go down in channel history as maybe the best I've ever done, because we got Joe Thomas, Calvin Johnson, Darrelle Revis, Patrick Willis, and Adrian Peterson all in that same draft. It was unbelievable. We win the Super Bowl, and now we can conclude this rebuild. I was going to go until modern day, but like I said earlier in the video, I'm running out of energy in my body. I need to rest. So we're going to take it easy. We're going to call it a video here. Soon down the line, we will do a video from 2002 all the way to modern day with whatever team it is. But this is going to be the Texans rebuild. Done and dusted. We actually have money for some reason. I don't know how we have money. Vince Young is Super Bowl MVP as we get our first championship. Donovan McNabb is the MVP of the league again. Michael Vick and Keith Bullock are the players of the year. Ted Ginn Jr. and John Beeson are the rookies of the year. So pretty cool. But this is the final roster. I'll show you that really quickly before we get out of here as we upgrade these final people. We had some of these guys from the get-go. We had Steve Smith and Troy Polamalu. Guys like that were here from the very beginning. Vince Young moves up to superstar development. Kotry jumps up to X Factor. Obviously, Calvin has X Factor. But Steve Smith was here from the very beginning. We traded for him in like the first season. Randy Moss, we finally acquired on the team. I wish I would have had him earlier. But, I mean, this offensive line is unbelievable. The tight ends are great. They've been here since the beginning, or since very soon. Vince Young, great player. Willis McGahee ended up being a great player for us, but then we moved on from him. Michael Turner, and then obviously Adrian Peterson. So we are stacked on the offense. And on defense, I mean, Booger McFarland was a godsend in the early days. Then pairing him alongside Vince Wilfork was amazing. Jared Allen and Robert Mathis really never did anything, but I think that's more of the Texans playbook than anything. So maybe in a different playbook, they would have been killer. Sean Taylor and Troy Polamalu was obviously a Hall of Fame level safety pairing. DeMarcus Ware was great. Patrick Willis was phenomenal in his 1 year. We could have done better on the offensive or the outside linebacker spot. James Harris ended up being a good player for us, but whatever. We could have done better, I guess. And then corner, we really didn't get good corners until like the last 2 years, and we pulled out Tim Jennings, Brent Grimes, and Darrelle Revis very soon. And once we were able to get those guys to pair alongside Asante Samuel, who was here from a while, I mean, this team is just unbelievable. We got Dustin Colquitt and Sebastian Janikowski. One of my favorite teams I've ever rebuilt. And we did it from 2002. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let me know what other teams you want to see me rebuild from 2002. And I will be back soon. I don't know when, but hopefully pretty soon. Like I said earlier, I want to ease back in. I want to take it easy. Try to get over these symptoms and the pneumonia fully before we jump right back into every single day uploads. So hopefully we'll be back pretty soon. I don't know when, but I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. If you enjoyed it, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.